publicly against the Senate leadership to get even the limited debate that ultimately occurred on his amendment, aiming to revoke the 2001 authorization for the use of military force. The vote did not occur. In the middle of the debate, Senator Bob Corker moved to table the amendment, forcing an immediate vote. The Senate then voted to kill Paul's amendment by a vote of 61 to 36. The post-9/11 authorization for the use of military force has been interpreted broadly by U.S. presidents as allowing unlimited war-making powers against anything even loosely described as terrorism. Senator Paul argued that the authorization for the use of military force has wrongly been used to authorize 7 distinct wars, and that repealing it would force Congress to debate specific authorizations for specific wars as an alternative. While he'd hoped that this would bring in support not only from opponents of the war, but also from hawks eager to get their votes on the record to authorize these many effectively unauthorized wars, little support ultimately materialized. In addition to Senator Paul, speaking in favor during the debate were Senators Ben Cardin, Chris Murphy, and Dick Durbin. This was driven in no small part by objection from the Senate's Republican leadership. Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell argued that supporting an all-volunteer military meant keeping the old authorization for the use of military force in place to prove Congress's support for all those wars. Many hawks, like Senator John McCain, were said to be concerned that new specific authorizations for the use of military force would limit the scope of America's wars, whereas the status quo is an authorization for the use of military force that isn't directly applicable and subsequently includes no direct limits that anyone is complying with. The vote on tabling the amendment is not necessarily indicative of where senators would have voted on Senator Paul's actual amendment. Senator Dianne Feinstein, for instance, opposed Corker's move to kill the amendment, but would have been unlikely to vote for the amendment itself. While the failure of the amendment does not preclude future efforts at passing new authorizations for the use of military force to cover America's many foreign wars, it makes such debates a less pressing matter. Talk of an authorization for the use of military force for the wars against the Islamic State, put off since the 2014 midterm elections for various reasons, can be expected to remain just talk, and no real advance on the effort is likely.
For over 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals. Gold, silver, platinum, and palladium. They don't feed the banks. They're Bitcoin preferred and have removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts Brokerage today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co.
Reuters reports 8 elderly patients died on Wednesday after being left inside a stifling South Florida nursing home that lost power during Hurricane Irma, prompting a criminal investigation and adding a tragic new dimension to mounting loss of life from the storm. The overall death toll from Irma climbed to 81 on Wednesday, with several hard-hit Caribbean islands accounting for more than half of the fatalities, and officials continued to assess damage inflicted by the second major hurricane to strike the U.S. mainland so far this year. Hurricane Irma killed at least 29 people in Florida, plus 7 more in Georgia and South Carolina combined, according to authorities. One of the most powerful Atlantic storms on record, Irma bore down on the Caribbean with devastating force as it raked the northern shore of Cuba last week before barreling into the Florida Keys on Sunday, packing sustained winds of up to 130 miles per hour. It then plowed north up the Gulf Coast of the state before dissipating. In addition to severe flooding in areas across Florida and extensive property damage in the Keys, one of the chief hardships facing Floridians has been widespread power outages that initially left more than half of the state without electricity. Some 4.2 million homes and businesses were still without power on Wednesday in Florida and neighboring states, down from a peak outage of about 7.4 million customers on Monday. The power losses had fatal consequences at the Rehabilitation Center at Hollywood Hills, a nursing home in Hollywood, Florida, just north of Miami. 3 elderly residents were found dead on Wednesday. 5 more patients from the nursing home later died at a nearby hospital. This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.
After notifying students that there will be no awesome events happening on campus this weekend, Hamilton College Activity Board Coordinator Jessica Wilson from the class of 2015 spoke to Onion reporters about the disappointingly empty days ahead.
On behalf of the entire Campus Activities Board, I would like to truly apologize for failing to live up to the standards expected of us from everyone on campus. And the fact is, we let the school down.
Wilson said that while the board is usually proficient at booking plenty of cool events for all students to participate in, the upcoming weekend will have no interesting lectures, no wrestling match against Amherst, no acoustic coffee house, and no outdoor movie screening of Silver Linings Playbook.
We tried our best to organize a foam party in Dunham Quad for Friday night, but all the foam machines were rented, and we failed. This falls on us. We realize we don't deserve your trust yet, nor do we expect it, but we'll do everything we can to restore your confidence in us, starting with a comedy hypnotist show on Thursday at Minor Theater. Tickets are $5.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
This is Free Talk Live. We'll give you the toll-free call-in line here momentarily where you can join us and bring up what is on your mind. The us in studio tonight being me, Darryl.
And Heather.
And Chris.
And, well, there was actually some pretty big news yesterday. Bigger news, in my opinion, on Tuesday that was not covered on the show last night. That being the Department of Justice, the federal Department of Justice, having investigated the Baltimore Police Department and determining that the cops involved in the death of Freddie Gray do not deserve to be charged with any crimes.
So these police officers were also not charged by the Baltimore District Attorney?
They were charged.
Charged, but not found guilty?
But they were acquitted in separate trials.
Okay.
There's speculation that if they had opted to prosecute them jointly of these are 6 co-defendants and had a joint trial, then there would have been some guilty verdicts.
Right.
But because reasons, each person wound up going in a separate trial. And I think there were really only 3 trials before they just dropped the charges against the other ones or took some kind of agreement.
Yeah, I couldn't remember exactly because it's been a while. But again,
Freddie Gray died in April of 2015. It's been 2.5 years.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie. I feel like there's been so many of these cases that the details of this one I don't remember.
Right. So let me jump into the story, and they do go over some of the details here.
I do remember the name, just not the details.
Right. So again, this from 2 days ago. The story comes from UPI, and it will be posted on Facebook and Twitter. The Department of Justice has decided against bringing federal civil rights charges against the officers involved in the death of Freddie Gray. DOJ officials ultimately decided that there was not sufficient evidence to meet the burden of proof for federal charges. The DOJ wrote in a release statement, quote, "It's not enough to show that the officers made a mistake, acted negligently, acted by accident, or even exercised bad judgment. Although Gray's death is undeniably tragic, the evidence in this case is insufficient to meet the substantial evidentiary requirements." Adding, the investigation into this incident has been closed without prosecution.
It's interesting, the high standard of evidence that must be presented. Is there always a high evidence standard when ordinary people are tried by the U.S. government? Seems to me that the standard seems to be a little bit lower.
Right, and let's talk about one of these people that I think most normal, or I don't want to say normal because that's relative, but most adults with a fully functioning brain would acknowledge that Ross Ulbricht is a political prisoner. When Ross Ulbricht...
I played the fifth. I don't know anything about Ross. I'll be honest with you.
Yeah. I don't know. Well...
I did read.
With a fully functioning.
I read that Ross was trying to purchase a hitman or something like that.
I'm sure you probably read that, and the prosecution mentioned that in passing during the trial, even though that was never one of the charges. He has never been charged with that. He's never been convicted of that because there's not enough evidence to bring a charge or a conviction.
Right.
But it's something that, well, this prosecutor person said it, and then some media outlet is going to run with it. And again, not anything he was ever charged or convicted of.
Okay.
Ross Ulbricht is
that's
sitting
a pretty
in
bad
jail.
thing if he did do it.
Well,
Of course, if he did do it.
allegedly, the judge in that case rapes penguins. There's no evidence that she does it, but I heard somebody say...
Did you really, Darryl, or did you just make that up?
I'm just not forming an opinion.
I heard someone say that
Ross.
on nationally syndicated radio.
Was that someone you?
I heard someone say it after I mentioned that it was an alleged thing. But again, it's just this allegation that got thrown out. But Ross Ulbricht was convicted of having created a website where people could buy and sell illegal substances. Mm-hmm. And even if Ross was convicted of that hiring a hitman thing that, again, he was never charged with or convicted of because there's no evidence that it actually happened. But even if the federal sentence for that is 10 years, he has 2 life sentences plus 40 for creating a website. Yep. He's a political prisoner. But in his trial, there was evidence of prosecutorial misconduct. There was evidence of investigators being corrupt, having had access to things they should not have had access to. Extortion. Federal officials were extorting Ross Ulbricht.
Right. And we have a couple of them in jail.
But Ross Ulbricht's defense team was not allowed to bring that up because it didn't benefit the state. But here, because, well, the people being investigated are the state, they're giving, this super high burden of it's not enough to show that the officers made a mistake, acted negligently, acted by accident, whatever that means, or even exercised bad judgment.
Right.
Now, what happened with Freddie Gray is he was arrested, placed in the back of basically a paddy wagon, not secured into a seat, handcuffed with his hands behind his back, and then they were driving around the city making very rough stops. It's something called a nickel ride.
Right.
There's evidence that they made, 6 stops from the time he was picked up until they got to the police department?
Something like that. Again, the details, I'm going to rely on you for those.
I do remember that case.
Yep. Severe spinal cord injury, broken neck, fell into a coma, died a week later. 6 police officers were arrested, or 6 police officers involved in Gray's arrest and handling were charged with various crimes, including the most serious of second-degree depraved murder. All 6 were acquitted of the various charges in separate bench trials.
Somebody needs to be going to jail for that. That's messed up.
Gray's family, however, and this is the really weird part of this story, Gray's family was awarded $6.4 million in a civil suit against Baltimore officials, but the Department of Justice says there's not enough evidence to bring civil rights charges.
They did nothing wrong, but here's $6.4 million.
That basically sounds like hush money to me.
Yeah.
Your calls.
So what was he
and
arrested
thoughts.
for originally? To get in the back of the paddy wagon.
I don't
remember.
I think he ran or something. Let me pull that up.
But it was not a violent offense. It wasn't anything with a victim.
No.
Your calls and thoughts. Welcome. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Were you able to find that? Because that's a detail that I do remember seeing originally.
Police alleged that he was found with an illegal switchblade. But again,
how would they know that? Like, you can't just search somebody.
Actually, they can just search people.
Can.
It's called a Terry stop.
Is that legal where he was picked up?
Yeah.
That's something that the United States Supreme Court has authorized Terry stops.
I thought there was I thought the Supreme Court ruled that you can't just stop and search somebody, though.
Oh,
well,
no.
Here's
You can't
what it
just
was.
stop and search. You can say, we think that you may be somebody that committed a crime, so now we're going to search you. But it can't just be, oh, pleasant day, let me pat you down.
I'll give you all the details, and you guys can come up with why they felt that they had probable cause, or why they said they did.
Okay.
Police encountered Freddie Gray on the morning of April 12th, 2015, in the streets near Baltimore's Gilmore Housing Project, an area known to have high poverty, high drug use, and a police officer made eye contact.
Eye contact.
Ran.
There you go.
Yeah.
Your calls and thoughts. Welcome, 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. This is Free Talk Live.
Don't do what I did and run out. If it's working, don't quit. Why would you stop? Why undo all the good that's been accomplished?
You've got to feed them right for life.
Dynavite is nutrition.
If I ever took Roy off of Dynavite...
No.
When I get to about 3/4.
When I get down to the bottom of my box of Dynavite, oh no, I've got a couple more scoops. It's time to place my order. Dynavite.com. DINOVITE.com.
859-428-1000.
Order a 90-day supply of Dynavite for your dog this week.
We'll send you a bottle of NomoFlea free.
NomoFlea flea spray kills fleas safely with no poison.
Because it's a polypeptide protein molecule made from
vegetable oil.
Try NomoFlea.
Free this week at Dynavite.com.
Just feed your dog right. Use Dynavite.
Dynavite for life.
859-428-1000.
859-428-1000.
DINOVITE.com.
Are you tired of paying fees and commissions to that other site? I know you are. And I'm here to tell you about a great alternative to sell your stuff. BuySellMakeOffer.com is the best-selling site to ever come along. It doesn't matter what you're selling, big or small. It's easier than ever. And you can use Skype to show your items and get to know your potential buyer, and they can see that you are for real. No more blind trust. And you're not limited to snapshots. You can video what you're selling to better sell it fast. For as little as $9.95, and that's after a free 30 days, you can sell everything you no longer want with absolutely no fees, ever. Go right now to BuySellMakeOffer.com and become part of a community of buyers and sellers who have already discovered this revolutionary way of getting it sold online. That's BuySellMakeOffer.com. You'll never regret making the switch. BuySellMakeOffer.com. So, what are you waiting for?
If you're looking for work, there's a piece of paper more important than your resume. It's the cover letter attached if you're snail mailing, or the email to which you attach your resume. Make it 4 short paragraphs. Paragraph 1, say that you're applying for work. The person you're sending to gets a ton of mail about all sorts of things. If you have a password, that's your first sentence. Tom Nelson tells me you and I should meet. Paragraph 2, what you do and how that relates to the opening. Be as specific as possible. Paragraph 3, why you want this particular job. I'm originally from Boston, so I know the market well. I have family and friends in the area, so this would be a homecoming for me. Paragraph 4, unless the job posting stipulates no calls, and I will call you to follow up. Thank you in advance for your time. From survivalspeech.com, I'm Holland Cook.
You may already know about the Free Talk Live audio-on-demand phone line at 641-793-9660. Did you know that not only can you listen to Free Talk Live via your phone, you can also leave a message and have it delivered to Free Talk Live's hosts? To leave us your thoughts, just dial 641-793-9660. That's 641-793-9660. Press 2 for Free Talk Live, and then hit 0 to leave your message. So you've signed the Shire Society Declaration and are planning your move to New Hampshire to be around more liberty-oriented people. Next, sign up for the Shire Society Forum at forum.shiresociety.com. There are a bunch of people there who are already in the Shire, and they want to meet you. If you're already in the Shire physically, you should also come by the forums. Remember, not everyone uses Facebook. New people are signing up for the Shire Society Forum every month, so drop in and say hello at forum.shiresociety.com.
You can sign up to receive the latest about the Liberty Radio Network via our email updates at updates.lrn.fm. That's updates.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. We'll get back into the story about Freddie Gray here in just a moment. Actually, it's a story about what the Department of Justice decided to do with the police involved in the death of Freddie Gray. We'll get back into that in just a moment. But I've got a very important question for you. Do you eat 5 servings of fruits and vegetables every day? If you said no, well, don't worry. You've got company, because only about 10% of people actually are. But there's more bad news. A preponderance of research is showing that you really need 10 servings a day. That's nearly a gallon of fruits and vegetables in their raw form. Only about 1% of the population gets that. What's the prize for accomplishing this feat? Well, protection against obesity, heart disease, type 2 diabetes, and cancer, plus enough antioxidants to neutralize all 5 known free radicals. Worthy goals, right? Well, I've been getting that, and I want you to join me. And here's a secret. We're going to cheat. Use whole food, or actually fruit and veggie total from the makers of Whole Food Multi-Complete. So join me in eating better, losing weight, living longer, and feeling better. Go to simplifymysupplements.com. Get some fruit and veggie total, and if you use coupon code FTL, you save 10%. Plus, they'll give you a free shaker bottle with the order. Simplifymysupplements.com, code FTL.
Yeah, we were talking about Freddie Gray and how the arrest went down, because it's been a long time. I know Heather couldn't remember exactly. I couldn't remember exactly. So we pulled up the timeline from NPR, and basically it went like this. On April 12, 2015, at about 8:45 a.m. in the morning, 26-year-old Freddie Gray made eye contact with police officers in his West Baltimore neighborhood. According to the charging document filed by police, Gray, quote, fled unprovoked upon noticing police presence, unquote. So basically, if you decide that you're going to go for a run when there are police around, there's your grounds for arrest. That's one. After a brief foot chase, the charging document states, Gray was apprehended and police found, quote, a knife clipped to the inside of his front right pants pocket, unquote. Police alleged the, quote, switchblade was illegal, but Baltimore Chief Prosecutor Marilyn J. Mosby said the knife was not a switchblade and was legal under Maryland law. So she says Lieutenant Brian W. Rice, Officer Edward M. Nero, and Officer Garrett E. Miller illegally arrested Gray. This was coming from the original case in Baltimore. According to the police report, Gray was arrested without force or incident, but the prosecution paints a slightly different picture. Again, it's an older story, saying that when Gray was placed on the ground, he began to flail his legs. Officer Miller placed Gray in a restraining technique known as a, quote, leg lace. And Darryl, you looked that up.
I pulled up a video, and it's basically if you sort of weave somebody's legs.
Intertwine your legs in between them? Or
no, actually, the video
theirs.
that I saw, you take your arms and sort of, wrap their one leg around the other leg.
Right. So basically at this point, according to a witness, Kevin Moore, Gray is, quote, screaming for his life at this point. One officer said Moore has a knee in Gray's neck. Another was bending his leg backward. Description consistent with the leg lace move.
Yeah, I think I would be screaming as well if somebody had a knee on the back of my neck and somebody else was wrenching my legs and knees.
Yep. At that point, they had him folded up like a piece of origami, according to Moore. He was all bent up. At some point during this confrontation, Gray tells police officers he has asthma and he needs an inhaler. Police officers say at this point the prosecution said at this point they should have been calling for medical help, but they didn't. So videos from that scene showing Gray apparently screaming in pain caused a lot of controversy. Gray is eventually put in a van, and Lieutenant Rice asks Officer Caesar R. Goodson Jr. to make a stop a few blocks down at Baker Street. According to police, at this point, officers describe Gray as acting irately. He was angry. He wasn't a happy camper. According to the prosecution, this is when officers put flexi-cuffs around Gray's hands, and they also put on leg shackles. Let's see.
And did not secure him into any of the seats in the back of the van.
Correct. Let's see. Baltimore Sun spoke to Tobias Sellers, who said he heard shouts at that stop. Sun reported Sellers, 59, said he was among those who started moving towards Gray and saw police beating him. They were taking their black batons, whatever they are, and hitting him. Gray is then put back in the van, at this time, according to prosecutors, on his stomach.
But they took him out of the van, so they put him in the van, went somewhere, and took him out and beat him?
According to, and Chris, we don't need to keep going in the article, but according to some reports, there were 6 stops between when he was picked up and when they finally got to the police station.
And they were taking him
care.
out and beating him at each of these stops?
No, I don't think so. That happened at least on this one.
And there's a witness?
There were witnesses at basically all of these stops.
Right, because there was another guy in the back of the van.
Right.
So again, all of that, the Baltimore courts found that, well, they didn't commit any of the crimes that they were charged with. The family of Freddie Gray, again, awarded $6.4 million in a civil lawsuit filed against Baltimore City officials. But the Department of Justice, the U.S. Department of Justice, decided that there's not enough evidence to bring federal civil rights charges. The investigation originally opened when Barack Obama was the president, but, well, he's not been the president since January. And as they say, there's a new sheriff in town.
Okay, Barack Obama had anything to do with this case. Come on now. He's busy and was busy by his desk. Occasionally
I didn't say Barack Obama was investigating.
I know, but
I said the investigation began in his presidency.
Yeah, but what does that have to do with it?
It has to do with, well, the president appoints the attorney general, which is the person that oversees the investigations in the Department of Justice.
Yeah, but the judge ultimately makes the decision. And that judge hasn't changed.
The Department of Justice decides whether to bring a charge. They're the chief prosecutors.
And they decided there's not enough here to even go before a judge. So there's no trial.
Eric Holder was, one of those people that probably leaned a little closer to, they probably violated something. But again, the investigation didn't finish when he was still in. Now, with Jeff Sessions as the attorney general, Jeff Sessions, one of these Law and Order America types, Jeff Sessions' Department of Justice decided that, you can rough up a black kid and no charges.
He didn't say that. What he said was, what the Department of Justice said was, we don't see that there's enough evidence here. And I think that's a travesty. I think by any account, by anything that's been presented in this case, it should go to trial.
Yep. And I'm just curious if things would have turned out differently if Freddie Gray were lighter.
You've heard the phrase, you are what you eat? Not true. Actually, you are what you can absorb. So if the vitamins and supplements you now take are not being absorbed, what good are they? Introducing Protovite, proprietary liquid system that allows premium quality nutrients to positively affect the blood in an astonishing 5 minutes. Watch our amazing 2-minute live blood cell video at TrueHealthFacts.com. That's TrueHealthFacts.com. Then call 502-410-3411. Protovite is nutrition you can feel. Protovite is nutrition that gets in.
Dr. Carolyn Dean wants you to have a free chapter of her new book, The Magnesium Miracle 2nd Edition, and it's available at magmiracle.com. In your free chapter, Dr. Carolyn Dean explains how magnesium is essential to support the structure and function and overall health of your body. Your free chapter is your guide to learn how to support your heart, bone, metabolic, lung, and mental health with this powerful mineral. The Magnesium Miracle 2nd Edition is available on Amazon, but right now get a free chapter at magmiracle.com, spelled M-A-G, miracle.com.
Free Talk Live.
Is God against audio CDs or MP3s?
No, all that technology was stolen from the angels in the first place. You wouldn't have anything that wasn't here in 1947.
Why are you selling audio tapes on your website?
There's only one there, which is Angels Over Pendleton, shows
I see
a
several
video
audio
of the
tapes here.
angel that we communicated with.
No,
for
you can't
9
put
days.
video on it. You can't put video on an audio tape. I'm looking at your website here. There's a page where you've got audio tapes for sale for $6, $6.25 each.
And I bought both Nazareth and REO Speedwagon on audio tape.
On audio tape,
Yeah.
but that was back in the 80s.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're getting the word, if you're trying to get the word out about, what you believe is going to happen in the future, maybe you should put it on CD and at least move into the 1990s as opposed to, 1985.
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern. Live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
The new 4th edition of Healing Our World, The Compassion of Libertarianism, will take your understanding of liberty to a deeper level and has over 1,300 updated references, new cartoons, and a foreword by Dr. Ron Paul. With discounts for multiple book purchases, the 4th edition of Healing Our World is a great gift for the liberals, pragmatists, environmentalists, and Christians in your life who think libertarianism is cold-hearted. Get yours today at healing.freetalklive.com and use promo code FTL for a $5 discount. There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com. Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
What's up next? Visit the Liberty Radio Network program guide to find out at shows.lrn.fm. That's shows.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live, 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. In studio tonight, it's Darryl.
And Heather.
And Chris.
And there's a little bit more to this story that we're talking about, the update out of Baltimore, or actually out of Washington, D.C., about Baltimore, where the U.S. Department of Justice has decided that the police officers involved in the death of Freddie Gray will not face any federal civil rights charges. Again, a little bit more to that we'll get back into in just a moment. But if you are listening to the podcast version of the show, leave us a review on iTunes, Stitcher, whatever service you use to listen to the podcast, because when you get higher reviews, that sort of, algorithms and whatnot, and it, bumps us up in the ratings and then allows more people to find the show. So again, if you use iTunes, and really I think you have to use like an Apple device to use iTunes. I run Android. I can't use iTunes, but
does it give them can they do that to each week? You know how we all do Thursdays? What if they like Thursdays better than Mondays? Is there a way to rate Thursdays?
No, you cannot. I don't believe you can rate individual episodes, but you can just rate the show, and by rating the show, it increases and bumps it up the list.
Yeah.
Makes it easier for people to find the show, and then get more people exposed to the ideas of liberty. So leave us a review.
I hope people like our little Thursday night crew.
So getting back into the article here, again, there's a little bit more to this specific article, and UPI actually links over to something that happened in April of this year. Again, the death of Freddie Gray in 2015. The 6 officers involved all did face charges in Baltimore. They were all acquitted of their various charges in separate bench trials. The family of Freddie Gray, again, awarded $6.4 million in a civil suit against Baltimore City officials. The administration of Barack Obama opened an investigation into Baltimore's criminal justice system. The department also opened a civil rights investigation into the death of Gray. The latest DOJ decision officially closes the latter investigation. The broader investigation into the city's police and court system concluded last year, found that officers and officials engaged in various forms of racial discrimination, unconstitutional action, and excessive force. The investigation's findings resulted in a consent decree that ordered Baltimore police and the court system to undertake sweeping reforms, and there was a consent decree signed earlier this year on that, despite the wishes of current Attorney General Jeff Sessions, who did not want any reforms in the Baltimore system. Now, jumping over to go into some of the details on that consent decree, again, from April of this year, there was a 4-hour hearing in front of U.S. District Judge James K. Brader, who heard from Baltimore residents and community organizers asking for approval of the agreement. The city and the U.S. Department of Justice, led at the time by Obama Attorney General Loretta Lynch, agreed on the terms of the decree after a federal investigation of city police and city courts found numerous examples of racial discrimination, unconstitutional action, and excessive force. The majority of those speaking...
Can I pause you? What's an example of racial, like when they say they found examples, like what exactly, how do you prove, right, that if let's say an officer pulls someone over, he happens to be of color, he kicks the crap out of him or whatever, like how do you prove it was motivated by racism when, you know, you have Kelly Thomas, the same thing's happening to him where he was in Philadelphia there, beaten to death by 6 cops. Like how do you pinpoint it and say without a doubt this is the reason this officer did what he did was because of racism and not just because the cop was a jerk, for example?
Well, I don't have the entire investigation from the DOJ in front of me, but I can think of a few examples. So let's say that I wind up getting pulled over by a police officer. I am not a black man. And the cop walks up and said, license, registration, blah, 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 blah. Oh, I see that you've got a warrant in South Carolina. Can you please kindly step out of the car? We're not going to extradite you, but just, take you in for a couple hours and, see what South Carolina wants to do. Or they just say, you know what? I don't really want to deal with the paperwork. Have a nice day, sir. And then that same officer pulls over a young black man and just immediately upon getting to the side of the vehicle, yanks the guy out of the vehicle. Even though, no record, no warrants, etc.
Okay, well then here's my thing. Look, what's the definition then of racism today? Because could it be
they're not saying racism, they're saying racial discrimination.
I thought when you read it, you said racism.
Nope, racial discrimination, unconstitutional action, and excessive force.
Well,
so beating the crap out of somebody is excessive force and unconstitutional actions.
Right.
And if you're only beating the crap out of people, or the vast majority of whom you're beating the crap out of are minorities, that also is racial discrimination.
But wasn't there there was a study done, right, where they took I can't remember the details exactly, but I thought it was they took inmates or they took people, right, and they had them role play like a prisoner, inmate.
Stanford prison experiment.
Yeah, where the ones that ended up role playing the, guards or whatever started treating the prisoners.
They were torturing the inmates.
Like less than human. So there's like a mentality that comes with it, right? Like are you like perhaps because laws tend to target victimless crimes tend to target lower income communities, right? So they're mostly made up of minorities, therefore like maybe...
Right, that's the inherent racism that a lot of people talk about.
I look at, like, when I think of racism, though, I think, like, somebody, like, I don't like you specifically because of your skin color, not, like, where, like, an officer might unproportionately arrest more people of color than another one because he's used to policing lower-income communities of higher minority descent, or whatever you want to call it.
Chris,
you know
jump in on this.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I mean, there have been some, and I'm trying to pull up a story because, and I can't find it right off the bat, but basically it was cops talking about cops. You know, are they surprised? It had to do with, actually, I know where I got it. It was a story that was an attempt to be the first database of crimes committed by police officers. And they took their data, and it's being released. It was a Vice story. They took their data to a few police officers, and they said, "Are you surprised by any of this?" And they're like, "Well, no." I suspect that in inner cities and things like that, where they are, you know, fighting the good fight against the war on drugs and things like that, which are going to take place more often than not in poorer neighborhoods,
right?
And poorer neighborhoods are more likely to be populated by more minorities than white suburbs. Then I can see those types of things developing in people. I don't agree with it. I hate it.
Just going over real briefly what was in the consent decree. The decree ordered new restrictions on the city's police officers, gave them or required more training and more supervision, also requires better technology and equipment, and enhanced civilian oversight and transparency. And that's something that the police don't like. They don't want civilian oversight. They don't want transparency. They want to be able to do what they do in the cover of darkness and get away with it, like the 6 officers that killed Freddie Gray. Your calls and thoughts welcome. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733.
Do you want to help build a better financial system for everyone? Join Dash. Dash is Digital Cash, a digital money platform designed to replace cash and help people manage their own wealth. It's fast and easy, fees are low, and transactions are confirmed instantly. Dash is decentralized, run by users who earn rewards for helping run the network and make governance decisions. Dash is set up to succeed where other platforms have failed. Give it a try at dash.org. Help people take control over their financial future today. Find out more at dash.org.
Ron Paul, Judge Napolitano, Jesse Ventura, Dennis Kucinich, Roger Ver, Colin and Jim Cantrell, Jordan Page, and Tatiana Moroz. Top minds in aerospace, cryptocurrency, blockchain technology, fine arts, politics, and finance, all at the Nexus Conference in Aspen, Colorado, September the 21st through the 23rd. Don't let this opportunity pass you by. Get your tickets now at nexus.freetalklive.com. New ideas and new opportunities all to be had on September the 21st through the 23rd. Nexus.freetalklive.com.
Kiyosaki, Rogers, and Schiff all concur there's an economic calamity that will be facing this country. My question to you is, do you know when, and are you prepared? Most people don't, but my friends over at Republic Monetary Exchange have been leading experts in precious metals to help you offset the coming economic collapse. Right now, for a limited time, they have a free book called The 10 Reasons You Should Own Gold. You simply need to give them a call at 888-772-2929 to get that in your hands. Do not allow the insiders to do what they did to you in 2008, putting your IRAs, 401ks, and savings in jeopardy. You need this book, and you need it now. The 10 Reasons You Should Own Gold. Call 888-772-2929. That's 888-772-2929. There's a reason that the largest investment banking company in the world, JP Morgan, just purchased another 50 million ounces of silver. This free book will explain it. 888-772-2929.
I've been told no in many different ways.
I give you an order and you're going to obey it.
Who told you you can go this way?
You can't do that and you have to leave here.
You cannot bring signs into the rally.
Walk with me. Well, I'm comfortable here, actually. Whoa, Hey. Who do you think you are? Excuse me.
There is no video and audio allowed in this office.
No, I have work today. This is...
You ain't gonna make it.
Wait
now.
Wait a minute.
Whoa.
Hey! Oh my God! Unbelievable!
Why are you running from me?
Because you scared me.
You
What am I being detained for?
You're being served.
What is this?
You're being served.
What is this? Bureaucrats have a funny way of telling people no.
That's the sound of the men working on the chain.
Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. Watch it for free and order the Director's Cut DVD at victimlesscrimespree.com. DVD, books, music, instruments, periodicals, computers, software, electronics, photo, cell phone, office products, home and garden, bed and bath, furniture, kitchen, pet supplies, automotive, hardware, apparel, shoes, jewelry, grocery, healthcare, sports and outdoors, toys, games, used, and more. It's a department store at your fingertips. Shop.freetalklive.com. Get all your shopping done, get a great deal, and a portion of your purchase goes to benefit Free Talk Live when you enter Amazon via shop.freetalklive.com.
Cell 411 is a free app for Android and iOS that replaces government-controlled 911. Cell 411 allows you to preset a group of friends or private organizations to show up at any emergency. Cell 411 is a nightmare for the state because it proves their so-called services aren't needed. Cell 411 has had thousands of installs, and of course it's covered by the BIPCOT no government license. Cell 411 because your friends won't shoot you when you're in trouble. Without the government, who would build the emergency services? You and Cell 411. Get it today at getcell411.com.
If you enjoy LRN.FM, please contribute to your favorite shows via their websites and become an amplifier at amp.lrn.fm. That's amp.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. In studio, it's Darryl.
And Heather.
And Chris.
And you want a better financial system for everyone? Consider joining Dash. Dash is digital cash. It's a digital money platform designed to replace cash and help people manage their own wealth. It's fast, can be private, and it's easy. The fees are low and transactions are fast or can even be confirmed instantly. You can pay anyone, anywhere in the world, anytime for just pennies. Dash is decentralized, run by users who earn rewards for helping run the network and make governance decisions. Anyone can invest in Dash and earn rewards for helping run the network. Join Dash and help create a better financial system for everyone. Take back control over your financial future today. Find out more at dash.org. There's a lot of momentum behind Dash, so go right now to dash.org to find out why. We've been talking about the Freddie Gray situation, specifically because the Department of Justice earlier this week decided that the 6 officers involved in the death of Freddie Gray had not violated federal civil rights laws of any sort, despite the family having won a $6.4 million civil suit against Baltimore city officials.
Right.
And then that led into a broader discussion about, is there, inherent racism in the system? Is there racial discrimination? How do you define racial discrimination? How do you prove racial discrimination? And Chris, you mentioned that there was some kind of database being created. We'll get into that, but first, your calls and thoughts. Welcome. We've got John calling in from Minnesota. John, you're on Free Talk Live. Go ahead with your thoughts. Hello, John in Minnesota. Going once. John in Minnesota going twice. I will put John on hold.
Yeah, try to go back.
Was there something there? John?
Hello?
Hey,
yep,
there
you're
you
on the air. Go ahead.
Oh, great. I was like, oh, no, it's my first time calling. It's not working.
No worries.
Yep, I was going to put you on hold. Thought you might have been, bad cell there for a second. But you're on the air. Go ahead with your thoughts.
All right, thanks. Anyways, I was having a conversation with one of my coworkers about racial discrimination in, inner city. And he's kind of a younger guy. he's like, well, what kind of creative solutions do you have? And I said, well, if we repeal all the drug laws, how do you feel about that? And he's like, well, yeah, you wouldn't be putting people in prison and stuff like that. And I said, cool. So you would just take it away. And he says, yeah. And I said, okay. Now, if you do that, you're taking away the black market for drugs and things like that. So a way to make income in that inner city, is to get all that. So now you're taking away a revenue stream for them. And if you're going to take all the people that were in prison and then now they're part of that community, the community becomes flooded and jobs become even more scarce in that sort of situation. So I was just curious, because a new listener, what you guys would think of that sort of scenario, like having this unintended consequence.
So hold on, let me see if I understand what you're asking. And Heather, sounds like you've got a response. I just want to make sure that I understand the question. The question is, if we get rid of the drug war, then there would be a lot of people that would no longer have jobs because the jobs that they have are in the black market, and the black market would no longer exist. And then you'd have all of these people being released from prison, and it would just drive up the unemployment rate. Is that basically the question?
Yeah, that was kind of, I'm not saying it would happen.
Right.
Right.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure that I understood the question. Heather, it sounded like you were going to jump in with something here.
Well, at first I was trying to understand what he was saying, but I think, it's kind of like he's asking us what would happen if we were to repeal the drug laws. Now all these inner city kids don't have the drugs to deal and push. What are they going to do, right?
Wind up selling them. They just wouldn't be facing felonies for doing so.
Right.
Nobody's trying to, crack down on farmers markets because you're dealing in tomatoes and nightshades.
Right.
No, they would be able to sell openly and not have to worry about criminal charges.
Yeah, and I think also
to some extent. Now, there was the story a couple days ago about the hot dog vendor that wound up having all of the money seized because, we think that this is an illegal hot dog stand and something, give us all the money.
Right.
And all of the hot dogs.
I would say that it would. Go ahead. No, please.
And what I was saying to him, and I said it would bring in, more competition because everyone would be able to openly sell and things like that, and it would drive the costs down. And
correct.
And it would be better for everyone. However, you would be, because he was focusing on the racial element of it, and I'm like, no, you're going to get a lot of entrepreneurs that are coming there and take over this market that otherwise, seems to be, that there is a racial element to that in the inner city. And how would you be willing to deal with those unintended consequences? I think everyone should be able to freely sell it and grow it and everything like that.
Right.
And that'd be fine. Decriminalize it all.
I think the big thing it would do that I would see would be it would remove violence from the system that the drug wars created. So inner cities are dangerous places to live, to travel to drive through at high rates of speed, because bullets can be flying around. And if you remove that violence, you remove the threat of violence from the police. And as the cost goes down, I think more people would be able to be more mobile. And
I look at it this way. If somebody were to ask me that question, like right now, if you look at the way the war on drugs is, it's like we're spending so much money on it. There's so many people overdosing and dying. There's so much crime, right? If we were to decriminalize or legalize or whatever and stop arresting these people, how much worse could it really get from what it's already at? I don't really know. I don't know what the unintended consequences are going to be, but I can tell you that the consequences of having the war on drugs are not good. And that is why I'd be willing to decriminalize drugs to see if it makes it better than what we're currently getting.
And there is this wonderful example, and John, thank you for the call. There's this wonderful example that we can look to.
Darryl.
There's a wonderful example that we can look to show what happens.
He's a first-time caller. You should have asked him if he had any final thoughts, Darryl.
He was on for half of the segment.
Call back next
John, call back again. You're a good caller.
Yeah, I like John.
But only one call per night.
God, you give Scott from Massachusetts more time.
No, I give Scott about 45 seconds.
Okay.
But there's a wonderful example that we can look at of what does happen when you wind up getting rid of the drug war. Portugal, 16 years ago, depenalized every substance.
Up
as
to a
long
10-day
as,
supply.
Up to what they consider to be personal use amounts, which is a 10-day supply. If you have a 10-day supply in the United States, even in states that have decriminalized, you're getting hit with intent to distribute charges.
Right.
What happened in Portugal, drug use rates went down. Drug abuse rates went down. The people going to get treatment for medical problems, because that's what addiction is. Addiction is a medical problem. People going to get medical help for their medical problem increased. So there wasn't, any of this unintended, oh no, everybody's overdosing on heroin the first day that there's no criminal penalties.
Yeah, I think in America we would see all sorts of positive effects that we haven't even contemplated. Like I said, I think it would be a revitalization of many parts of cities because that basically the drug war locks people in.
The crime element is removed.
Right. You remove the criminal element. People can then not have to worry day to day. They don't have to take these jobs that are so high risk. And people are going to live longer. You're going to have people that are not getting shot and killed either by police or by rival drug gangs. And people are capital too. Labor is a capital resource, and if you provide more labor to an area, then it can produce more.
And then you would also have the whole thing of items are being sold on the free market. So if something's being sold as cocaine that is not actually cocaine, well, people are going to be able to leave reviews on Yelp about, the corner stores not actually selling this. And it would wind up being safer because then you're not worrying about trying to, make something in your bathroom. You're not, doing shake and bake meth. You're not mixing things with tainted products and tainted bathtubs
I'm
and
just going to
whatnot.
throw it out there. I don't condone drug use by any means.
Why not?
Because like unhealthy drug habits and like shooting drugs,
How about healthy drug habits?
Be responsible.
Yeah, oh God, man.
See? Be responsible.
Anything that rots your teeth? No, I don't. No.
855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Heather says no sugar.
Have you wanted to get into Bitcoin mining but don't want to deal with the hassle and frustration of operating the mining hardware? Let pool.bitcoin.com handle it for you like I did. Just visit pool.bitcoin.com and use their calculator to estimate what you could end up making. You get to decide which Bitcoin you want to mine. If you already have mining equipment, you're invited to join pool.bitcoin.com. Get all the details and get started mining Bitcoin at pool.bitcoin.com.
Ooh, get the stinky dog away from me. DINOVITE.com.
Order a 90-day supply of Dinovite for your dog this week.
We'll send you a bottle of NomoFlea free.
NomoFlea flea spray kills fleas safely with no poison.
Because it's a polypeptide protein molecule made from
vegetable oil.
Try NomoFlea.
Free this week at Dinovite.com.
Everything we tried failed except the Dinovite. DINOVITE.com.
We've all heard about blockchain assets like Dogecoin, Ether, and Ripple. Bitcoin isn't the only player in the blockchain game any longer. And for those of us wondering how to get our hands on these digital assets, finally, there's a solution. Shapeshift.io allows you to buy and sell between your digital assets and Bitcoin instantly between your own digital wallets. I've used it with ease. Shapeshift.io. There's no account or email address needed. You send them the crypto you want to sell. They send back the crypto you want to buy. It's that easy. Shapeshift.io. The three most important things you can do for Free Talk Live are: 1, share one episode a week on Facebook or in some other social networking site. 2, buy the things you buy online through shop.freetalklive.com. 3, give $5 a month to the AMP program. It's my firm belief that Free Talk Live's AMP program is the best use of your charitable dollar among liberty-oriented organizations. Support all the organizations you love, but make sure you give $5 a month to AMP at amp.freetalklive.com.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 2 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Darryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Thursday, September 14th, 2017. Silver is trading at $17.72 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,320 per ounce. Bitcoin is trading at 3.8 cents, and the average price of Bitcoin is $3,930. Antiwar.com reports Senator Rand Paul had to push heavily and very publicly against the Senate leadership to get even the limited debate that ultimately occurred on his amendment, aiming to revoke the 2001 authorization for the use of military force. The vote did not occur. In the middle of the debate, Senator Bob Corker moved to table the amendment, forcing an immediate vote. The Senate then voted to kill Paul's amendment by a vote of 61 to 36. The post-9/11 authorization for the use of military force has been interpreted broadly by U.S. presidents as allowing unlimited war-making powers against anything even loosely described as terrorism. Senator Paul argued that the authorization for the use of military force has wrongly been used to authorize 7 distinct wars, and that repealing it would force Congress to debate specific authorizations for specific wars as an alternative. While he'd hoped that this would bring in support not only from opponents of the war, but also from hawks eager to get their votes on the record to authorize these many effectively unauthorized wars, little support ultimately materialized. In addition to Senator Paul, speaking in favor during the debate were Senators Ben Cardin, Chris Murphy, and Dick Durbin. This was driven in no small part by objection from the Senate's Republican leadership. Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell argued that supporting an all-volunteer military meant keeping the old authorization for the use of military force in place to prove Congress's support for all those wars. Many hawks, like Senator John McCain, were said to be concerned that new specific authorizations for the use of military force would limit the scope of America's wars, whereas the status quo is an authorization for the use of military force that isn't directly applicable and subsequently includes no direct limits that anyone is complying with. The vote on tabling the amendment is not necessarily indicative of where senators would have voted on Senator Paul's actual amendment. Senator Dianne Feinstein, for instance, opposed Corker's move to kill the amendment, but would have been unlikely to vote for the amendment itself. While the failure of the amendment does not preclude future efforts at passing new authorizations for the use of military force to cover America's many foreign wars, it makes such debates a less pressing matter. Talk of an authorization for the use of military force for the wars against the Islamic State, put off since the 2014 midterm elections for various reasons, can be expected to remain just talk, and no real advance on the effort is likely. For over 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals. Gold, silver, platinum, and palladium. They don't feed the banks. They're Bitcoin preferred and have removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts Brokerage today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. Reuters reports 8 elderly patients died on Wednesday after being left inside a stifling South Florida nursing home that lost power during Hurricane Irma, prompting a criminal investigation and adding a tragic new dimension to mounting loss of life from the storm. The overall death toll from Irma climbed to 81 on Wednesday, with several hard-hit Caribbean islands accounting for more than half of the fatalities, and officials continued to assess damage inflicted by the second major hurricane to strike the U.S. mainland so far this year. Hurricane Irma killed at least 29 people in Florida, plus 7 more in Georgia and South Carolina combined, according to authorities. One of the most powerful Atlantic storms on record, Irma bore down on the Caribbean with devastating force as it raked the northern shore of Cuba last week before barreling into the Florida Keys on Sunday, packing sustained winds of up to 130 miles per hour. It then plowed north up the Gulf Coast of the state before dissipating. In addition to severe flooding in areas across Florida and extensive property damage in the Keys, one of the chief hardships facing Floridians has been widespread power outages that initially left more than half of the state without electricity. Some 4.2 million homes and businesses were still without power on Wednesday in Florida and neighboring states, down from a peak outage of about 7.4 million customers on Monday. The power losses had fatal consequences at the Rehabilitation Center at Hollywood Hills, a nursing home in Hollywood, Florida, just north of Miami. 3 elderly residents were found dead on Wednesday. 5 more patients from the nursing home later died at a nearby hospital. This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.
Video game players love customizing every aspect of their character. One game, Elder Scrolls Online, has set a new bar for character creation by letting players design every organ and cell in their avatar's body.
In Elder Scrolls Online, you get to play as whoever you want to play. You are in control of everything from your character's face to their hair to their arteries. We're not just going to give you some pre-made bones and ligaments. You get to create the musculoskeletal system that's right for you. You can even alter the DNA.
Are all of these changes just cosmetic?
No, not at all. They have a huge effect on game playing. If your character's body has any anatomical flaws, they could die immediately.
Beta testers say that designing every aspect of their character is a compelling experience.
I've been designing my orc's liver for 5 hours now. This is awesome.
Designing the hands is the hardest part. I keep having to look up how all the joints connect.
Players can also press the randomize button to get a completely random collection of body parts.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
This is Free Talk Live. Kicking off hour number 2, 855-450-FREE is the toll-free call-in line where you can join us and bring up whatever is on your mind. The us in studio tonight is Darryl.
And Heather.
And Chris.
And we spent most of the first hour talking about the situation in Baltimore, specifically because the news from earlier in the week about the Department of Justice saying that the officers involved in the death of Freddie Gray should not face any federal civil rights charges. But that led into a broader discussion about sort of police accountability, the drug war. And Chris, you've pulled something up from Vice from, again, just a couple days ago about a database to track the criminal activities of the police?
Yeah. This comes to us from Vice News. When cops commit crimes, and inside the first database that tracks America's criminal cops. This is by Isabella McKinley Corbo, and it says 12 years ago, a criminal justice master's student named Philip Stinson got into an argument with his grad school classmates about how often police officers committed crimes. His peers, many of whom were cops themselves, thought police crime was rare, but Stinson, himself a former cop and attorney, thought the problem was bigger than anyone knew. He bet a pint of ale that he could prove it. On Tuesday, Stinson made good on his bet with an extensive police crime database offering the most comprehensive look ever at how often American cops are arrested, as well as some early insights into the consequences they face for breaking the laws they're supposed to enforce.
Okay, so I've not looked at this. I saw that you posted the article where we share articles with one another,
Sure.
and I've popped it up, but I've not read past what you just read. So I'm going to take a guess here at the interesting insights into the consequences and say that how do you quantify not much into a number? That's to say that, very few of the officers that wind up getting arrested for anything, whether it be on the job or off the job misconduct, very few actually wind up being prosecuted.
Yeah.
And again, that's my speculation. I've not looked at the numbers in this article.
Yeah.
Continue, and hopefully we'll answer my question at some point.
Sure. So the data set that he worked with includes 8,006 arrest incidents resulting in 13,623 charges against 6,596 police officers from 2005 through 2012, with more years of data to come.
And again, just because there's a charge does not mean there's a conviction.
Correct. And nearly half of these incidents, Stinson and his research team concluded, were violent. And that was one of the things that kind of popped out, that the incident of violent crime versus non-violent crime.
And that's sort of complete opposite of the regular population, where the vast majority of offenses are not violent and have no victim. And that there's a difference between violent crimes and crimes that have a victim.
Correct. The data covers 2,830 state, local, and special law enforcement agencies across all 50 states plus D.C. That's just a fraction of the approximately 18,000 law enforcement agencies and 1 million sworn officers in the United States. So the data set is not comprehensive, but it is the most extensive and ambitious look at cop crime to date. It's not as rare as you might think.
Let me
go ahead.
Compare some of these numbers again. So, again, there are a total of 1.1 million police officers in the country. This data looks at roughly 7,000 police officers that were involved in just over 8,000 arrests and almost 14,000 charges.
6,596 officers, resulting in 13,623 charges.
Charges, not necessarily convictions.
Correct. So I'm not going to read this entire article, but the top line numbers indicate that about 1,000 officer arrests per year over the 8 years. That's just a number I'm going to throw out there, and nearly 1,140 arrests per year from 2008 through 2012.
Which is roughly 3 per day.
Something like that. The most common charged offense across all police arrest incidents in the database were misdemeanor assault, with driving under the influence a close second. Forcible.
Where does domestic violence rank on this?
Very, very high, and that's one of the things that did not surprise officers that were interviewed about this. They recognized that police officers are somewhere around, and they throw out sometimes somewhere around 4 times as likely to have abuse in their relationship than the general public.
So I'm actually looking at the chart here, and since we're jumping around a little bit, let's go through these top charges, again, from 2005 to 2012 for a fraction of all of the police departments across the country. Again, what was it? 2,800 police departments at the state, local, and special law enforcement agency level out of 18,000 such agencies. And the top charges: simple assault, DUI, official misconduct / oppression / violation of oath, aggravated assault, drug and narcotic violations, forcible fondling, false reports and statements, intimidations, weapon law violations, and forcible rape.
Those are your top 10.
Yes.
So that kind of, where do I see burglary? I don't see burglary on there. I don't see shoplifting on there. I don't see those types of crimes.
Not in the top 10.
Not in the top 10, which means there are more police officers that are convicted of force or charged with forcible rape than there are with burglary. We should also bear in mind that the arrest is not an equivalent to a conviction. And they don't have a way yet to determine exactly how many officers are convicted. I know that was a question you had.
Yeah, that's the info that I really, really, really wanted. Because
this is so like one of those situations where it's like, what's a solution? You know what I mean?
Well, the solution is, let's talk a little bit more about the problem, then we can bandy around some solutions. Based on this data, 1,219 officers were arrested for sex-related crimes between 2005 and 2012. More than half of the alleged victims were underage, meaning 17 years old or younger. The most common sex crime was forced fondling, 388 cases, followed by forcible rape, 355. 17% of officers arrested for sex crimes, 213 cops total. Again, out of our sample size, were charged in multiple sex-related cases, meaning they were either repeat offenders or had multiple victims.
And there was the rare case a couple of years ago in, was it Oklahoma City, where the police officer was actually caught on tape with several women that he was forcing himself upon. And, I think because there was the video evidence of what he did, wound up being convicted.
Right.
But then, he was crying of, I shouldn't have been convicted of this, blah, blah, blah. Basically, putting the burden on everybody else. So he still was acting as though he did nothing wrong. His badge allowed him to do whatever he wanted to. So, Heather, you asked, what can be done. And I think that, this is one of those things to where it's just a symptom of something larger. And when you have people that, well, they're told that, well, you have this immunity, that immunity, this other immunity, they think that they are above the law.
But they're not, given immunity. Some of them were charged and some of them have gone to jail. It's just, I don't know. I mean, it's unfortunate. And I admire the police that are actually out there cracking down on the ones not doing a good job.
I don't disagree with that.
Good job for the good cops.
Your calls and thoughts welcome. More on this. Plus, again, your calls and thoughts. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. What can be done about the bad apples that spoil the bunch?
Ron Paul, Judge Napolitano, Jesse Ventura, Dennis Kucinich, Roger Ver, Colin and Jim Cantrell, Jordan Page, and Tatiana Moroz. Top minds in aerospace, cryptocurrency, blockchain technology, fine arts, politics, and finance, all at the Nexus Conference in Aspen, Colorado, September the 21st through the 23rd. Don't let this opportunity pass you by. Get your tickets now at nexus.freetalklive.com. New ideas and new opportunities all to be had on September the 21st through the 23rd. Nexus.freetalklive.com. If you want to promote your business, organization, website, or club, radio is a great way to reach a lot of people. And because the ads are low cost, you can reach them a lot more often. Repetition builds reputation, and ads with audio are just more convincing than print or digital. If you need local people, please contact this station. If you can sell nationally, I'd love to help. Free Talk Live is nationally syndicated on more than 170 radio stations, and we have a large and loyal podcast audience. Check out our packages at advertise.freetalklive.com. If you need something custom, contact me, Mark at freetalklive.com.
BuySellMakeOffer.com is better than ever. I'm Pat Matthews here to tell you that BuySellMakeOffer.com, the revolutionary site for buying and selling anything and everything, just upped the ante. Go right now to BuySellMakeOffer.com and click the Sign Me Up button. When you do, you'll get the first month free, and then it's just $9.95 a month to be a member forever. And you don't need a credit card for the initial setup. Create your own store on the site and sell whatever you want, as long as it's legal, however you want, and sell an unlimited number of items. Create your own intro video to describe what your store is all about. Use Skype to see who you're buying from or selling to. Sell unused household items, as well as antiques, cars, televisions, collectibles, real estate. The possibilities are unlimited. Use social networks to promote your store right from our site. Remember, there are never any fees, no matter how much you sell. Become a member today. I'm a member. Get all your friends to sign up, too. This could become a great business for you. Sell whatever you want for the first 30 days, free at BuySellMakeOffer.com.
Free Press Publications is an independent, alternative media and publishing company founded in June 2009 with the mission of ensuring a free press for the freedom movement and is committed to spreading the message of peace, freedom, love, and liberty. FPP also gives new authors an avenue for publishing freedom-oriented material. FPP brings you daily news and commentary on the website fpp.cc, as well as a daily 5-minute newscast, FPP Radio News, and weekly news, views, and commentary in the FPP Freedom Minute and Peace, Love, Liberty Radio at fppradio.com, and the monthly newspaper FPP News at news.fpp.cc. Find FPP online at fpp.cc. That's fpp.cc, as in Creative Commons.
Did you know you can watch Free Talk Live during our live show 7 days a week from 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern via our studio cams at cam.freetalklive.com? Plus, you can chat with other listeners while you watch, all totally free. Now that our live video stream is hosted by YouTube, our video archives will be online even faster. So be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Listen, watch, and chat all free at cam.freetalklive.com. That's cam.freetalklive.com.
There's no better app for tracking the value of cryptocurrencies than CoinCap. I've had a lot of apps for tracking Bitcoin, but none that's ever been able to track 500 digital assets at once. Their best feature is the Altfolio. I love this thing. You enter how many Bitcoins, Ether, Dash, Doge, or whatever else you have, and it tells you how much your crypto is worth. You can watch yourself get rich. If you have crypto, go right now to coincap.io, or you can use the Apple Store or Google Play to get the app. I love CoinCap. coincap.io.
You're listening to the best liberty-oriented audio streamed around the clock, on the air and online. This is the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
This is Free Talk Live, 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. In studio, it's Darryl.
And Heather.
And Chris.
And we here on Free Talk Live are fans of the Bitcoin, and, well, we want to tell you how you can actually mine Bitcoin from the comfort of your own home without having to worry about investing in really expensive equipment and running up your utility bills. Go to pool.bitcoin.com. Again, forget about the cost, the constant equipment upgrades, the maintenance. Make Bitcoin every day like Mark and Ian do. Pool.bitcoin.com. There's a 100% uptime guarantee. The website is easy to use and can calculate what you might expect to earn. Again, they're at pool.bitcoin.com. And not just that, but you also can help steer Bitcoin towards the liberating currency that Satoshi Nakamoto meant it to be. You're not just making money at pool.bitcoin.com. You're doing activism while you sleep. Pool.bitcoin.com. Let's jump back into some of the numbers here, Chris. Again, talking about the database that Philip Stinson, who is a master's student, a criminal justice master's student, got into an argument with a classmate about how many crimes do police commit, and he came up with a database.
And Stinson is a former police officer himself.
And again, some of the very interesting numbers just to skim over before getting back to where we were. The data set includes roughly 8,000 arrest incidents, resulting in 13,623 charges, not necessarily convictions, because, well, unfortunately, they don't have a way to track that. 13,623 charges involving 6,500 police officers from 2005 to 2012. Data covers 2,800 state, local, and special law enforcement agencies across all 50 states, plus the District of Criminals, out of a total of 18,000 law enforcement agencies and 1.1 million officers. So again, the data is not comprehensive, but it's the most extensive and ambitious look at cop crime to date. Again, article from Vice will be linked on Facebook and Twitter. We were going over some of the charges here, specifically the ones in the top 10. And Chris, there were a couple numbers that you were pointing out. So let's get back to those. And then again, your calls and thoughts welcome. 855-450-FREE.
A couple of the other findings, rookie cops are more likely to get arrested more often. The data generally shows that there's a real spike around, 4 to 8 years. That's when officers tend to be arrested for these types of crime, more likely, but it occurs at every year, can occur every year during an officer's career. Most cops who got arrested are male, 93%. 13% of the most serious charges male cops faced were for misdemeanor assault. Repeat offenders, out of the 6,596 officers in the data set, 802 were arrested more than once. Stinson also found that nearly 24% of the officers arrested for any crime from 2005 through 2011 were sued at some point during their career for federal civil rights violations like excessive use of force or verbal assault. When cops get convicted, and this is what you were asking about earlier. So out of 5,148 cases where Stinson and his team know the outcome, 3,716, or nearly three-quarters, resulted in a conviction.
Interesting. Now, I am curious here what the charges were that the people were actually convicted of.
Yeah, but Stinson said this conviction rate might be misleading, especially when it comes to serious crimes. A felony conviction, for example, would likely end a cop's career because convicted felons typically lose their right to carry a gun. So an officer arrested on felony charges may plead guilty to a misdemeanor charge instead in order to keep his gun and his job.
And I'm also wondering because domestic abuse also results in the loss of gun ownership rights. So the cops that are charged with that, are they pleading to lesser charges?
I think that's a common move. Let's see. There was another one cop's face. Other consequences. He knows that at least 91% of convicted officers were fired or resigned.
Okay, and there's definitely more to this. Skim through. We're going to go to Skype where we've got Ricky calling in from, not that it makes any difference, but the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. Ricky, you're on Free Talk Live. Go ahead with your thoughts.
Oh, it sure as hell makes a difference there, brother Darryl.
In your mind and your mind only. Go ahead with your thoughts.
Brother Chris and Brother Heather, a quick question for you two.
I guess I'm your brother.
If it's all right. No, sister Heather.
You okay, said it doesn't matter. What's the question, Ricky? What's the question?
Quickly, before I go on, if you could, Brother Chris and Sister Heather, if you could tell me kind of like I'm from the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. I was always here, but I also grew up here. You don't have to say where you're from, but where you kind of grew up, both of you, if you don't mind.
Sure.
Cape Cod.
Eastern Oregon.
Interesting. You know an awful lot about the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania there, Chris, and you're from Oregon?
I spent about 10 years in the Commonwealth. I lived around the Carlisle area.
No kidding.
Yep.
All right. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Was that the young lady?
Oh, no, I was just saying I grew up on the Cape.
That's all right.
Oh, yeah.
With lobsters.
In the Commonwealth of Massachusetts?
Yes. Also a Commonwealth, as is Virginia and Kentucky.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, Massachusetts, I guess, is interesting because we have like municipal governments and stuff like that on the Cape. You know what I mean? Where I guess it's different than other parts, right?
Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, very different than Massachusetts, Virginia, and Kentucky.
Yep, because Pennsylvania's capital is Harrisburg, the capital of Massachusetts. Not Harrisburg. Thus, that's a difference. They're also geographically different.
Okay,
Massachusetts has a lot of ocean, whereas Pennsylvania does not. Pennsylvania does have Penn State University, pretty good football team. Massachusetts, they've got the Patriots, which is in the NFL.
Also, don't forget, in your own words, when you were doing research, at my request at a point, kings and queens, the lady in the lake, and various other weirdness and crazy stuff that's very difficult to understand, and most don't. And I can tell you this.
I didn't understand any of that. Go ahead.
I think that was a haiku.
You said that yourself, Darryl, quite a long time ago.
Really?
Okay.
Yes.
We're going to roll tape on that one.
Kings and queens, our beginnings in Pennsylvania.
Huh.
Yes, absolutely.
I learn something new every day. Go ahead.
So, was there a question at some point that you had, Ricky?
We're getting to it.
Yeah,
all right. Write it down. Grab a piece of paper, grab a writing utensil, and write down your question. And your calls and thoughts are welcome. Maybe you know what the hell Ricky's talking about. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. This is Free Talk Live.
Want revenge on the common housefly? Well, after 10,000 years, someone has finally come up with a better way. The Bug Assault, a miniaturized shotgun, which utilizes ordinary table salt as ammunition. Non-toxic and no batteries required. $39.95 plus shipping and handling. Use discount code GCN and receive 15% off your purchase at bugasalt.com. Fire your fly swatter and get your Bug Assault today.
With nearly 70 years of history engineering bunkers, today, Atlas Survival Shelters is still the authority. Atlas offers 18 different choices, from commercial tornado shelters to underground nuclear fallout shelters, starting at just $99.99 with 100% financing available, comfortable interiors, and state-of-the-art air filtration systems. Atlas Survival Shelters are the most popular private survival shelters in the world. Call 1-855-4BUNKER now or visit atlassurvivalshelters.com.
On Free Talk Live, we're bringing people to the ideas of liberty every day. From wrestling superstars like Glenn Jacobs.
You guys really are having an impact, I believe. Like I said, a lot of where I am now is due to listening to Free Talk Live. You changed my mind on some very important issues years ago.
To random people tuning in on the radio.
I was kind of stuck in the left-right paradigm. I heard your show by chance on a Saturday night. From there, I went on, joined the Free State Project, and become an amplifier. So, I mean, that's really the reason why I amp is because I know that if it wasn't for you guys being on as many stations as you are, I never would have found the ideas of liberty.
Your amp will directly change more lives by getting Free Talk Live in front of people looking for talk radio online and on the air. When you amp Free Talk Live, you get perks like access to the AMP-only Facebook group and AMP podcast. Visit amp.freetalklive.com.
When you hear the word lobbyist, you probably think about greedy corporations, but not all lobbyists are the same. Some are fighting for the freedoms you hold dear. Liberty Lobby LLC is doing just that in New Hampshire, working hard to represent you, not some special interest group. You can help by going to libertylobby.info, where your contribution will give us the tools we need to ensure that your voice is heard. Visit libertylobby.info today to find out more.
For years, LRN.FM has had a listen line that you can call and listen to LRN.FM anytime. Now we're taking the idea to a new level with the LRN.FM audio on-demand line. You can call 641-793-9660 anytime and listen to LRN.FM's live feed, and you can listen to a bunch of our original shows on demand. Long-distance fees may apply. Just dial 641-793-9660 and choose from the menu. 641-793-9660.
Money, power, and respect are all yours at creditsuccesssecretsrevealed.com. Be seen as an industry leader. You can do it. The last application you filled out when it was time to hit submit did your nerves spike. You didn't get the approval you seek, but there's a better way. We teach you exactly what to place into the right systems the right way the first time so you get approved. Get up to $100,000 in instant business credit. Many people will get cash on the spot. Use those two tools in your new corporate credit engine so you can walk into the bank and get your project funded today. It's all about today at creditsuccesssecretsrevealed.com. Credit Success Secrets Revealed is explosive and ignites instant results. Dial 1-800-707-8719. That's 1-800-707-8719. 1-800-707-8719. Or just go to creditsuccesssecretsrevealed.com.
While our satellite channel is free to listen to, it's not free for us. You can help us cover our satellite costs with the chip-in on the right side of the page at lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Your calls and thoughts welcome. And maybe you're intimidated to actually call in to a nationally syndicated talk radio show.
Well, when you say that, then people are going to be intimidated, Darryl.
Well, but maybe you still want to give us your feedback. And you can do that.
How?
By calling we've got an audio on-demand listen line. So you can call 641-793-9660, and you can actually, it's not just Free Talk Live, it's all of the live shows from the Liberty Radio Network, LRN.FM, where you can listen at your leisure, and then you can. There's a button you can press to leave a message.
Yep.
So if you're intimidated about calling 855-450-FREE and talking to us live, you just want to like monologue at us, that's fine. 641-793-9660. It's the audio on-demand listen line, but you can leave us messages if you want.
It's kind of cool because we get notified, too. We get little notifications in our inbox saying, hey, you've got a message, and I listen to them.
I listen to the ones that there are a couple of telephone numbers that I've blocked.
You recognize them?
And, well, my email service has features to where, just block this one.
Right.
And then if you are going to, press the button and leave a message, actually talk, because there have been several where, like 15, 20 seconds of just silence.
Yeah.
But, leave us a message. If it's shorter, more likely that I'll listen to it. I'm not listening to like a, 5-minute monologue.
Yeah. But they are kind of fun, and please keep it up. We enjoy them.
And let's go back to the phones, actually to Skype. And again, Skype username is LRN.FM. Ricky, you're back. Continue with your thoughts.
Thank you so much. Well, it comes down to this, and try to bear with me. Maybe Brother Chris can help with this too. Now,
we don't offer that kind of help. I said we don't offer that kind of help, but go ahead with your thoughts.
Well, I'm going to give an example. I'm going to explain it, and I'm going to answer the question that everybody been asking about, Ricky, from the Commonwealth, since probably I'll come on the air. Example of which, and then I'm going to break it down and explain it, prove something that a lot of people don't understand.
Okay.
I'm going to cite it first. It's actually Section 21, pursuant to 25, 20, and 26 of the Constitution of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, Article I, 1968. Now we're going to break it down backwards to make it easy. First, we're going to take Section 25. Section 25 states to guard against transgression of the powers that we have delegated, all these things shall remain inviolate. Now, that's been there since the beginning, July 23rd, 1776. What that means is all the crap that's in that section and the damn document is going to stay that way, and it should be it's absolute. Let's go to the next one. The next one is Section 26. Section 26 is suits against the Commonwealth.
26 does come after 25.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but the amendment's a little confusing, but I'm going to fix that too. Section 26 says, it suits against the Commonwealth. Now, that was added in 1968. That was already in the works by 1964, going into 5 maybe. Now, what that says is suits may be brought against the Commonwealth and its subdivisions. Now,
so somebody can sue the state government in Pennsylvania. So
or a town or a county.
So hold on, Ricky.
Don't step on my balls.
Hold on, Ricky. I've got the mute button. I've got a question for you. What the hell does this have to do with why should somebody that doesn't live in Pennsylvania care what the Pennsylvania Constitution has to say?
Maybe I'm saying it to all your callers, a load of them that come from the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania that talk about the First Amendment, the Second Amendment, a lot of other things. May I continue?
Yeah. No, I'm agreeing with you. Go ahead.
Okay.
I'm just trying to figure out, why somebody outside of Pennsylvania should really care what the Pennsylvania Constitution has to say.
Well, before you continue, I think all discussions of all constitutions are intriguing because each state is a little bit different. So go ahead, Ricky.
Yeah, don't step on his balls, Darryl.
Thank you, sister.
I don't step on people's balls, but I do know somebody that you could pay to do that if that's what you're into. Continue with your thoughts, Ricky.
Oh, my God.
Okay. Now, suits against the Commonwealth and its subdivisions. Reason why that was brought upon is because it was not there. And in the early 60s, the state was overstepping their boundaries at the beginnings of the civil rights movement. And what they were doing is using the separation between the state and the Commonwealth to the advantages. I mean, this is specific to Pennsylvania. Okay, so the addition of, and I'm going to use Section 21 as the final example, the addition of of Section 26 was added in the amendment, and the amendment reads that Section 26 has been, even though it's in line, moved to its current position, which is actually above Section 25. Now, I'm going to use Section 21 as an example. Can I do that?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Now, first of all, I understand a lot of things, one of them being a very good understanding of legalese, about as good as any lawyer and better than some. Now, that's how we're going to break Section 21 down. Okay?
It's pretty straightforward. Go ahead.
Thank you. Section 21. The citizens, I quote, the citizens have a right to bear arms in defense of themselves and the state. This shall not be questioned. One of the first things you're going to notice about this is, and I say it all the time, where am I from, Darryl?
You're from the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, but it doesn't make any difference because Massachusetts also a Commonwealth, Virginia also a Commonwealth, Kentucky also a Commonwealth. Ricky, and you keep mentioning every time you call, you mention Section 21, Section 25, Section 26. What difference does it make? And
let me finish.
Very, very quickly, what the hell? What's your point?
Of what?
Tell us about Section 20. Tell us about Section 21.
He already told us about Section 21.
Well,
what's the point you're trying to make? What is your point?
You're being a jackass, Darryl, to a member of the Commonwealth, please.
Ricky, what is your point?
I do.
What is your point?
Section 21, and I'm going to tell you again.
You already read it. You've got 1 minute. What is your point?
The state is not of the Commonwealth. It's not a state at all. Reason why it's called legalese. Two prepositions, of and the. If you understand prepositions in defense of the state, themselves and the state, who are they talking about? The state meaning the state could be also another state, but it's not the Commonwealth. Can be. Understand themselves is the Commonwealth.
You're not allowed to defend yourself against the Commonwealth?
You are.
Making me a jackass in front of all my fellow Pennsylvanians who are confused as all hell, talking about the First Amendment and the Second Amendment. And if they went to court and they're a member of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, they're going to lose because they violated their own constitutional rights. And the Constitution has holes in it. I'm talking the U.S. Constitution. Don't forget, on July 23rd, 2016, I took an oath. I think I know the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania.
Ricky, thank you
Thanks for the call, Ricky.
Your calls and thoughts. Welcome, 855-450 free. You don't have to be coherent. Just be interesting.
I love the Article 21. Most states have something that has to do with the right to bear arms.
Correct.
And he kind of fumbled around it a little bit, but I just like the way it reads. The right of the citizens to bear arms in defense of themselves and the state shall not be questioned. I just like, you can't even question it.
But
it's
yet,
just a right.
But yet Pennsylvania does not have a shall issue concealed carry permit.
I get it.
They question
it. Yeah, they do.
Your calls and thoughts. Welcome, 855-450 free. That's 855-450-3733. This is Free Talk Live.
Crimes of the Crown by Captain Mark. The Crown casts the world in shadow and claims to be our guiding light. Cowards clamor for security from boogeymen and ghost stories, while I say these hobgoblins are imaginary. I say those they propped up as our liberators are now subsisting on our bondage. I say there is freedom in the black, and that's exactly where we intend to go. The Crown banishes its own officers for exposing its crimes and tortures dissidents to the brink of madness. It dominates the globe and swallows the wealth of generations, leaving only blood and excrement. The Crown calls it piracy to explore frontiers beyond its grasp. So the time has come for us to define the conduct among pirates. I say the Crown has trampled our necks long enough. Need decentralized solutions to centralized problems? Looking for a community of like-minded scoundrels? Or just want some swag to let the Crown know what you think of it? Join the conversation at pirateswithoutborders.com. We won't be hard to find.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Slingbow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of Slingbow, a new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
You want to save money in a place that gives you growth, control, and certainty without stock market risk or tax risk, and you want guarantees and you want it all tax-free. That's a tall order. But you can get all of that with properly designed participating whole life insurance. Most people think life insurance pays after you're dead. That's true. But you can have tax-free access to use your life insurance while you're alive. Get the free book to find out how. Call 702-660-7000.
Understanding your credit score is the first step towards managing and improving it. This is Charlie Sundstrom with your Van Dyke Mortgage Minute. The most influential component of your credit score is your payment history. Almost equally as important is the amount you owe on credit accounts. Also impacting your score, but to a lesser degree, are the length of time you've utilized your credit, the number of new accounts, credit inquiries, and your various types of credit accounts. To help achieve or maintain a healthy credit score, have a system set up to assure your bills are always paid on time. Don't max out your cards. It's better to have a high credit limit with a low balance. Never close old accounts. The age of these can actually help your credit score. But don't be afraid to use your credit. You need several accounts in order to have a credit score. Just keep the corresponding payments within your means. For your mortgage pre-approval and refi needs, start by visiting vandykemortgage.com.
Corporate NMLS 3035. Van Dyke Mortgage is an equal housing lender. Charlie Sundstrom, NMLS 134251.
The three most important things you can do for Free Talk Live are: 1, share one episode a week on Facebook or in some other social networking site. 2, buy the things you buy online through shop.freetalklive.com. 3, give $5 a month to the AMP program. You likely buy all kinds of things online. Amazon is the largest online retailer. You can get what you need at the same prices with free Super Saver shipping by going to shop.freetalklive.com. Please do your online shopping at shop.freetalklive.com. Imagine, if you will, a virtual world, a symbiotic economy with its own currency, where you can barter your services with others. Symbi.com is a marketplace of real people exchanging skills and services, from web developers, marketers, video production specialists, and teachers of all sorts, to gaming consulting or fitness coaching. Symbi.com is a vast world of people trading freely. Take my word for it, it's an adventure you can't afford to miss. Simbi.com.
Do you love Twitter? Make sure you favorite the LRN.FM Twitter account so you can receive our tweets at twitter.lrn.fm. That's twitter.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live, 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. You don't need money to do business on Symbi.com. It's a slick, easy-to-use marketplace where you trade your talents for other people's services and abilities. You can forget the old economy. This is your economy, Symbi.com, Simbi.com. You won't believe the diversity of services listed on Symbi.com. There are hundreds of thousands of people acting within the symbiotic economy. So go create an account at Symbi.com. Again, Simbi.com. Take a look around and post your services, Symbi.com. There's still more to this article from Vice about the database that's been attempting to track the crimes committed by American police officers. We'll get back into that, but first, your calls and thoughts. Again, 855-450-FREE. We've got Greg calling in from New York. Greg, you're on Free Talk Live. Go ahead with your thoughts.
You know, I really like how you take everyone's calls. I tried to get in contact with Stefan Molyneux, you know, this Free Domain Radio, and I think I started trying to contact him like 3 years ago, and I never got a response, which is kind of sad because I kind of like his approach. He wants to be consistent and rigorous. So I think if I ever got on, I'd debate him the same way I do on this show.
So are you calling to see if we have an in with him? Because we totally don't.
No, I just wanted to give you guys kudos for just taking people's calls without all this stuff.
No worries.
You know?
That's what makes the show interesting, you know?
Yeah, definitely a lot of interesting people on it. Speaking of interesting people, after I left my email the other day, guess who emailed me? Libertarian banker.
Oh, cool.
All right. What was the content of, or you don't have to read the email to us, but what was the point of the email?
Well, I think we admire each other and each other's intellect, and we wanted to maybe call into the show on Sunday and debate one another. And I wanted to ask if that's possible to set up. I think we did that one time before.
This Sunday, I don't believe that would be possible because we're going to be doing a special remote broadcast from the Seacoast.
Gotcha.
From the Free State Bitcoin shop that is at least the first Bitcoin-only store in New Hampshire, if not the entire country.
And by that, you mean you can't go in there with U.S. dollars or Canadian
you can go
Louis.
in with
you can't
U.S. dollars.
Spend them, correct?
You can spend them in the Bitcoin vending machine
But
that
they will
allows you
not
to purchase crypto.
Right, but they will not accept U.S. dollars for merchandise.
They will not accept
directly.
U.S. dollars for merchandise directly at the cash register, but they will assist you in purchasing Bitcoin and then using your Bitcoin. And I think they have a couple other cryptos that they use as well.
I know that.
Plus, there's also the 5-year anniversary screening of Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree that you can actually watch for free online, or you can buy a limited edition DVD at victimlesscrimespree.com. But Greg, if you want to get this set up, contact Ian, IAN at freetalklive.com. He would be the one that would be able to set this up for you.
What would you debate him on?
We have to choose topics. I think last time I was bringing up my unconditional basic income, and he called in and made a very good point, which is that the cost of living varies from place to place.
True.
So he was wondering how would unconditional basic income even work, which actually helps me to clarify my own thoughts, because I do believe in, I think I called in before, local cryptocurrencies. And so I want to make a cryptocurrency that actually will work and inflate automatically and capture how much it costs to have a cost of living in that area. So that's something that I'm working on, actually.
Are you camera shy by any chance?
Not really, no.
Because if you go to Call Out, have you heard of that? It's QALLOUT, callout.com. QALLOUT.
Right.
I'm actually a resident debater for them. I just haven't been debating lately. But you can go on there and you can debate people and set up your own video debates, and you get 20 minutes each, and you tag and you go back and forth.
Now, Greg, I do like your concept here of the crypto, because that would be sort of a free market version of UBI.
I was going to offer a solution here. I mean, your concern is, how do you make prices level in a universal basic income? And I think it's well established that you just do price controls. If you control more,
they have those in New York.
Well, I was going to say, but if you want to make sure that people pay the same for a given product in, say, Texas versus New York versus North Dakota, if you get some central planning in there, then the government can dictate exactly what price everything goes for.
Right. And so the reason I call into shows, including, liberal shows and progressives as well as conservative, I don't call in all the time.
Oh, we're not conservatives.
Or liberals.
Is to refine my ideas. And so I think a great place to start would be if each community could, if we finished this coin, which I'm now calling Intercoin, basically going to allow each community to have its own crypto, and then local business, like the Berkshires, in Berkshire. And basically, then it would inflate. What it would do is businesses would tag each purchase with, okay, this was food, this was, cleaning utensils, whatever. Either manufacturers or stores would tag it so that then the whole community could see what is the median spending on food, let's say, in the previous day. Then they could collectively vote on, cryptographically, securely vote on how much UBI, how much percent of the previous day's CPI should be given. And so that rate could be 10%.
It's like a crypto tax.
Giving everyone.
That's what that is.
Huh?
That's like a crypto tax, right?
It's like a crypto tax, but it's not. No tax collector is going to come to your house. It's just if you choose to use the currency, it inflates, and therefore, each transaction
That's
you
interesting.
prioritize the necessities first.
I'm fine with the voluntary part.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
completely.
If there is, by the way,
What's that? Go ahead.
if there's a shortage, let's say, for whatever reason, the supply of water is reduced. So the UBI, it responds to that right away because it sees that the price of water went up yesterday, so it issues that much more money to everybody until the shortage is resolved. And you deal with it later, but everyone gets to drink.
Yeah,
no one goes thirsty.
Yeah, and I understand. I read a lot on UBI, and it's one of those topics that I just, to be quite upfront, I don't agree with at all. To me, it is just socialism writ large, and that's okay. You and I can disagree on that. I think it's interesting.
As, you're supporting voluntary options, I think we can agree with you on that.
Yeah, and that's the whole point.
Like
If people wish to take part in it, feel free. Don't take my money to do this experiment. I'm good with that.
No, that's fine. But how do you propose that, let's say, the disabled people earn enough to survive?
I don't know any disabled people around here that are starving to death.
Yeah, but that's because they live in a state. What if they didn't? How would they get the money?
If they were stateless, like they were floating in the ocean or something like that?
No, like if you lived in an anarcho-capitalist land.
Well,
how would they?
Yeah, my town's a great example of that. Do you know what our spending per capita is on food for the poor? And we have poor people. I live in one of the poorer towns in Cheshire County, New Hampshire. We spend $0 on food. It is 100% voluntarily given, non-governmental. It's called our food shelf, and they feed. They do meals. They do Meals on Wheels. And the food shelf is open 7 days a week. If you need food, all you have to do is go down there. The criteria is you're hungry.
Okay.
And that's it.
You show up. And that's how things should be. And I would rather, and I know a lot of people will say, well, what about the free rider problem? I would rather deal with the free rider problem than the compelled rider problem.
And it's interesting.
I would ask, what about the rent? What about the rent?
What about the rent?
Roof over your head?
Oh, the roof. What do you mean? For the place that does the food shelf?
Are they homeless, these people who get the free food? Where do they stay during the night?
No, a lot of times our welfare system picks that up, which is paid by the town, not by the state.
Greg,
welfare system, but it's still a welfare system.
Yeah, right? No argument. I'm not saying I support it.
Greg, thank you for the call. Your calls and thoughts. Welcome. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. This is Free Talk Live.
Have you wanted to get into Bitcoin mining but don't want to deal with the hassle and frustration of operating the mining hardware? Let pool.bitcoin.com handle it for you like I did. Just visit pool.bitcoin.com and use their calculator to estimate what you could end up making. You get to decide which Bitcoin you want to mine. If you already have mining equipment, you're invited to join pool.bitcoin.com. Get all the details and get started mining Bitcoin at pool.bitcoin.com.
Do you want to help build a better financial system for everyone? Join Dash. Dash is digital cash, a digital money platform designed to replace cash and help people manage their own wealth. It's fast and easy. Fees are low and transactions are confirmed instantly. Dash is decentralized, run by users who earn rewards for helping run the network and make governance decisions. Help people take control over their financial future today. Find out more at dash.org.
Hi, this is Mark Edge of Free Talk Live. Michael W. Dean's book, User's Manual for the Human Experience, changed my life. In a culture that attempts to turn you into a compliant victim, this book gives you implementable steps on everything from how to be aware of your environment, walking down the street, to business, to how to handle a toxic person in your life. If you're a human, you need to read this book at least once. Go to Amazon and get the Kindle version, or paperback, or an audiobook of A User's Manual for the Human Experience.
If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com. You can get emailed announcements and participate in contests via our email updates list. Plus, we have a Twitter account that you can follow and a Facebook page where you can become a fan. So visit news.freetalklive.com to get news about Free Talk Live as soon as it's announced and the way you want it delivered at news.freetalklive.com. That's news.freetalklive.com.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 3 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene, the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Darryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Thursday, September 14th, 2017. Silver is trading at $17.72 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,320 per ounce. Bitcoin is trading at 3.8 cents, and the average price of Bitcoin is $3,930. Antiwar.com reports Senator Rand Paul had to push heavily and very publicly against the Senate leadership to get even the limited debate that ultimately occurred on his amendment, aiming to revoke the 2001 authorization for the use of military force. The vote did not occur. In the middle of the debate, Senator Bob Corker moved to table the amendment, forcing an immediate vote. The Senate then voted to kill Paul's amendment by a vote of 61 to 36. The post-9/11 authorization for the use of military force has been interpreted broadly by U.S. presidents as allowing unlimited war-making powers against anything even loosely described as terrorism. Senator Paul argued that the authorization for the use of military force has wrongly been used to authorize 7 distinct wars, and that repealing it would force Congress to debate specific authorizations for specific wars as an alternative. While he'd hoped that this would bring in support not only from opponents of the war, but also from hawks eager to get their votes on the record to authorize these many effectively unauthorized wars, little support ultimately materialized. In addition to Senator Paul, speaking in favor during the debate were Senators Ben Cardin, Chris Murphy, and Dick Durbin. This was driven in no small part by objection from the Senate's Republican leadership. Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell argued that supporting an all-volunteer military meant keeping the old authorization for the use of military force in place to prove Congress's support for all those wars. Many hawks, like Senator John McCain, were said to be concerned that new specific authorizations for the use of military force would limit the scope of America's wars, whereas the status quo is an authorization for the use of military force that isn't directly applicable and subsequently includes no direct limits that anyone is complying with. The vote on tabling the amendment is not necessarily indicative of where senators would have voted on Senator Paul's actual amendment. Senator Dianne Feinstein, for instance, opposed Corker's move to kill the amendment, but would have been unlikely to vote for the amendment itself. While the failure of the amendment does not preclude future efforts at passing new authorizations for the use of military force to cover America's many foreign wars, it makes such debates a less pressing matter. Talk of an authorization for the use of military force for the wars against the Islamic State, put off since the 2014 midterm elections for various reasons, can be expected to remain just talk, and no real advance on the effort is likely.
For over 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals. Gold, silver, platinum, and palladium. They don't feed the banks. They're Bitcoin preferred and have removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts Brokerage today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co.
Reuters reports 8 elderly patients died on Wednesday after being left inside a stifling South Florida nursing home that lost power during Hurricane Irma, prompting a criminal investigation and adding a tragic new dimension to mounting loss of life from the storm. The overall death toll from Irma climbed to 81 on Wednesday, with several hard-hit Caribbean islands accounting for more than half of the fatalities, and officials continue to assess damage inflicted by the second major hurricane to strike the U.S. mainland so far this year. Hurricane Irma killed at least 20 29 people in Florida, plus 7 more in Georgia and South Carolina combined, according to authorities. One of the most powerful Atlantic storms on record, Irma bore down on the Caribbean with devastating force as it raked the northern shore of Cuba last week before barreling into the Florida Keys on Sunday, packing sustained winds of up to 130 miles per hour. It then plowed north up the Gulf Coast of the state before dissipating. In addition to severe flooding in areas across Florida and extensive property damage in the Keys, one of the chief hardships facing Floridians has been widespread power outages that initially left more than half of the state without electricity. Some 4.2 million homes and businesses were still without power on Wednesday in Florida and neighboring states, down from a peak outage of about 7.4 million customers on Monday. The power losses had fatal consequences at the Rehabilitation Center at Hollywood Hills, a nursing home in Hollywood, Florida, just north of Miami. 3 elderly residents were found dead on Wednesday. 5 more patients from the nursing home later died at a nearby hospital. This has been FPP Radio News. Online at fppradio.com.
Facing mounting criticism that lethal injection is cruel and outdated, Ohio has replaced it with a system that quickly and humanely rips off the heads of death row inmates using powerful robotic arms. The new device is designed to be as humane as possible, emitting soothing white noise and putting prisoners on a cushioned seat before its metallic talons dig into their necks and painlessly wrench their heads off. Ohio Department of Corrections Director Gary Moore praised the machine, saying, quote, "Our new system is a hallmark of compassion. Now these deaths will be pain-free because the machine's claws are coated with topical anesthetic." Quickly pulling off a prisoner's head is considered less cruel than lethal injection, which requires 3 separate chemicals. And Ohio isn't the only state changing the way it handles capital punishment. Last month, Texas unveiled the Machinator, which humanely squishes up to 50 prisoners at once. Coming up next, is anything valuable buried in the woods behind my house? Our team of investigators finds out.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
This is Free Talk Live, kicking off hour number 3. Your calls and thoughts welcome. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. In studio tonight, it's Darryl.
And Heather.
And Chris.
And let's go to the phones. We've got Michael calling in from Maine, listening to 780 AM WXME in Monticello. Michael, welcome to Free Talk Live. Go ahead with your thoughts.
Hey, how's it going? I just want to first off say thank you for taking my call. Earlier, a gentleman called in and was just touching the fact that you guys really do take calls just by anybody. So thank you for that.
You're welcome. What's on your mind?
I was calling because, if I'm not mistaken, I think it's by 2020, the Pentagon is mandating that females be integrated into combat roles. And I was wondering, what was your take on that? I'm currently serving in the Marine Corps, and so the credo is every Marine is a rifleman, and that does include females.
Right.
So in the next level of boot camp is called Marine Combat Training. Even females have to go through that.
Right.
So for a whole month, they're getting training, just like men, doing the same exact thing. So what do you guys think about that?
Well, my own personal, I'm going to speak up because I think I'm the only veteran in the room.
Correct. I'm a conscientious objector and wound up never joining.
And I'm a military brat. I grew up, my whole family's military.
Yeah. So first of all, I hope we don't need combat forces anymore. That would be my first take. I recognize the world's an ugly place, but I hope that we can live in a world where we don't put people in the position where they have to do things that may haunt them for the rest of their lives. So with that preface, if it's an all-volunteer military, whether it be a militia, which I would rather prefer, I would rather have people join civilian things. I'm not a fan of standing armies. But if females wish to join and they wish to join in a combat role, then I have no issue with that. I don't think there's a good argument against it. Everybody talks about, well, you don't know what might happen in a foxhole and things like that. Well, that's part of the deal. I do know, I know some female Marines. I don't know if she's listening tonight, but a good friend of mine from Oregon did a number of years in the Marine Corps. So she's as gung-ho now as she was when she was in.
Just real quick, based on a very quick search of some news, it appears as though women are already serving in some combat roles in certain situations. But you said that you had heard that by 2020 that it would be like every combat role would only be women. What exactly was the 2020 thing again?
If I'm not mistaken, the Pentagon is mandating that the Marine Corps integrate females into combat roles.
So specifically the Pentagon. Okay, so what I'm saying is about other things. So let me see what I can find on Marines, because I just typed in women Pentagon combat roles and came up with other stuff. I didn't realize you were talking specifically about the Marines.
So is like the concern, I guess, like the devil's advocate part, like people are worried that like temptation or whatever on the battlefield between man and woman is going to distract them from executing.
There is part of that. The other thing's that traditional male role is the protector of the weaker sex. That if a man might be more likely to do something horrendously stupid to protect a woman that he might not do for another man. There's that. There's the question of fraternization. Fraternization is a real thing in the military. And would it be any more so there than it was in communications that I worked in?
But then there's also concerns, and I'm not seeing anything necessarily in the news about this particular topic.
I think you might want to look at Soldier 2020. That might be what he's referring to.
But there's also the concerns of, are the females capable of performing specific functions?
Right, upper body strength, things like that.
I know that they have a different set of standards, in as far as in the Marine Corps physically.
Oh yeah.
So, I mean, I think that if they can complete and their training, no matter what sex they are, let them be in it. But if we're gonna lower the standards for them, that's not fair. I mean, that
I don't disagree with you.
Right.
Yep, I agree with you completely. It was that way when I was in the Army, too. It was like...
I'm a woman, and I don't want anybody lowering standards for me if I join the military.
I think it was 40 push-ups for us in 2 minutes when I was in. This was back in the Revolutionary War. But it was like 12 for women in 2 minutes or something like that. It was a marked difference. And I understand the physiological differences, but we're talking about performance that's either going to save your life or cost you your life. So why shouldn't it be the same standard? I don't disagree with that.
Absolutely. But let me ask you guys another question now. This is kind of a follow-up question. So theoretically, right, we're going to have women in the infantry. So does that mean now that all women should have to sign up for the
draft
service? Yeah. I mean, because right now it's only men, and females they want to be in infantry roles. So I say, they have to sign up for service just like all the men.
I got a better solution, and that is do away with the draft that we don't use anyway.
I don't believe people should be forced to fight battles they don't want to fight.
The long and the short of it is a drafted army is a slave army, and it's harsh to think of it in those terms, but the idea of conscription is to rip you away from whatever you were doing before, your pursuit of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, and put you in an army and tell you what you have to do. And that may involve killing other people. So I have a fundamental issue with the draft. We don't have a problem with a volunteer military today.
I think a draft, in my opinion, is kind of like an act of terror in itself, because it's literally forcing people... Like it's forcing people with coercion to fight in a battle that they probably feel is unjust and don't want to fight. I mean,
even if they do agree with it, even if they do agree with the mission, then let them join voluntarily and not say
correct.
Everybody that signs up for the military does so voluntarily right now, but when you're drafted, you're forced to do it. That's where I have an issue.
Yep.
But imagine if we didn't have the draft. I mean, in all the wars that we fought,
Michael, you're breaking up. I think we just lost you. Thank you for the call. Definitely call in again, but again, only one call per night.
Yeah,
855-450 free.
Yeah,
like
definitely.
to hear from you again.
I'm only on Thursdays, so try to call in those days.
But
every Thursday.
No, let's talk about the draft a little bit more, because I think he was trying to make a point. The draft has been used throughout all of the previous, very just, good. The American Revolution, there was a draft. The Civil War, there was a draft. World War I and World War II, there was a draft.
Vietnam, Korea. Yeah, I disagree completely. Like I said, conscription is slavery. It is removing you from whatever you were choosing to do,
yes,
and under threat of locking you up and throwing away the key. You have to do the job that we say you have to do. Now, soldiers can, and some successfully have fought it once they've been in, said that they're a conscientious objector, and they end up
And that's a very difficult process.
It is.
I work with this woman that's from Russia, and she was telling me the other day, she's like, growing up in Russia or whatever, when you turn 18, and because right now her son's 18 and is thinking about taking that gap year or whatever before going off to school. But in Russia, if you don't go to college when you graduate, you have to go into the military for men, not for women, but just for men. So either the man goes to college or he goes in the military. Those are his only two options.
Right. I know a lot of people, a lot of kids that are 18 years old that aren't suited for either one. And Israel has always had mandatory military service for men and women, I believe.
Sounds accurate.
I think I want to fact check myself.
Since they became a country in 1947.
Right.
Your calls and thoughts welcome on the draft or whatever is on your mind. 855-450 free. That's 855-450-3733. This is Free Talk Live.
From the first letter of Captain Mark. History is full of flowery documents claiming to limit the power of the crown, but these poetic social contracts have been impotent to prevent the predation. Limited government is a lie they use to keep us submissive. The Crown cannot be trusted to abide by its founding charters, nor its treaties, nor even its own rules. The essence of the Crown is centralized violence, and I've had enough. That's why I raised my black banner. I am no revolutionary. My aim is not to reset the cycle of violence, but to break it. My aim is an evolved society, invisible to the Crown, not a new hierarchy, but decentralized networks with no central figure for the Crown to target. If you want your servile life, keep it, but we will not submit to the Crown's agenda. And when you are ready to stop being its beast of burden, ready for adventure and opportunity, join us at pirateswithoutborders.com.
Attention business owners and independent contractors. This is a money-saving message from Tax Mediation Services. If your business owes $20,000 or more in taxes, we can help you today, right now. Listen, dealing with the IRS is no picnic. It's an intimidating and extremely stressful process, and you don't want to go it alone. Our attorneys know every law, every tax break, and every possible opportunity to help you resolve and reduce your tax debt. And if you owe more than $20,000, you may be at the top of their hit list. So don't take your tax debt lightly, because it will not go away on its own. The IRS can seize your bank accounts, your home, and even shut down your business. Call our tax experts today at 1-800-774-3149 and let us deal with the IRS while you focus on your business. That's 1-800-774-3149. Again, that's 800-774-3149.
The Free State Project has reached its goal of 20,000 liberty lovers who've pledged to move to New Hampshire and get active to achieve liberty in our lifetime. Perhaps you're trying to figure out what part of New Hampshire should be your destination. If so, consider Keene. You'll find more than 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com. Keene is famous for its historic, publicity-generating activism, as well as being the liberty media capital of the world. It's home to freekeene.com, New Hampshire's destination for liberty activism, news, and opinion. For years, we've been compiling over 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com, where you'll learn about some of what's happening here and what makes Keene a great place to live. If you love liberty, you'll probably enjoy anywhere you end up in the Shire. But do your due diligence first. Please visit move.freekeene.com for the full list of over 150 reasons to move to Keene. That's move.freekeene.com.
Here's a chance to do a little activism while you're cruising Facebook, Twitter, or Google+. Between the LOL cats, the recipes, the hot girls, and the inspirational sunrise memes, Free Talk Live's posts pass by your newsfeed. Like them, comment. It gives us more exposure. If you don't see our posts, click like at facebook.freetalklive.com and then hover over it to click Get Notifications. It's an easy way to spread the ideas of liberty a bit further. I know you're busy, but you can spare that 1/10 of a calorie it takes to click on something. facebook.freetalklive.com.
Are you tired of your taxes funding endless occupations around the world? Antiwar.com is run by people who understand that wars abroad become wars at home, wars on our freedoms. Antiwar.com is dedicated to bringing you the latest in news, views, interviews, and reviews from the top movers and shakers in the anti-occupation movement. Antiwar.com has it all, from thorough foreign policy analysis to interviews with whistleblowers who used to run the military-industrial complex. Anti-war, pro-free market. That's antiwar.com.
If you enjoy LRN.FM, please contribute to your favorite shows via their websites and become an amplifier at amp.lrn.fm. That's amp.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. In studio tonight, it's Darryl.
And Heather.
And Chris.
And how would you like to save 5, 10, 15, 20%, maybe a little bit more on things you were going to buy anyway? Well, there's a way you can do that. And you get these, again, big savings when you go to saveatpurse.com. I just wound up saving 23% on some Cobra grips, and Chris was like, "What are those?" So it's a wrist wrap that has a grip. So when you're lifting weights, you
free
put
weights,
free weight, barbells, dumbbells, things of that sort.
It's no need to get personal, Darryl.
What?
Dumbbells. Go ahead.
So if it's something that your regular grip can't necessarily hold, but you could lift, you have this. There's the ones that I have are called Cobra grips. So it loops inside your hand and creates some extra grip resistance there. It allows you to pick up heavier weights.
But you got it for how much less?
23%.
23%. That's incredible.
On some Cobra grips. And I did that by going to saveatpurse.com, putting items in my Amazon wish list, then importing the wish list into the account there at saveatpurse.com. And then you fund the account with Bitcoin or other cryptocurrencies. And I just had to wait a couple of hours for this order to wind up being picked up by somebody. And I got the things in the mail today. I placed the order late Tuesday. Saveatpurse.com. And there's still more to the article about the database on police crime that hopefully we'll be able to get back into. Even if we don't, the link has been posted on the Facebook and the Twitter where you can find it. Let's go to the phones where we've got Sarah calling in from not the Commonwealth, but the state of New Mexico.
It's the Commonwealth of Albuquerque.
Sarah, you're on Free Talk Live. Go ahead with your thoughts.
What's that?
What do you mean by Commonwealth of Albuquerque? What does that mean?
We've been asking ourselves that all night long. So I was just making a joke referencing another caller.
So, Sarah, there's a caller, and if you actually listened to the show, other than when you're either on hold or on the phone, you would know there's another caller that he likes to point out that he's from the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. So we were just making a joke about the type of government there in New Mexico and Albuquerque. What's on your mind?
Yes, I just wanted to bring up that it's kind of like Art Bell again, but, I feel that I had many lifetimes on Atlantis.
Uh-huh.
The reason I assume this is because I read and I hear and I listen and I try to learn everything about Atlantis. So when George Laurie used to talk about life on Atlantis, I was just so interested, like how some of the Atlanteans winded up getting stuck in the Pyrenees Mountains. But the Basques are the descendants of Atlanteans, the ones that escaped before it sank.
Oh, the ones you and Darryl are related to, right?
Not Darryl. I had a DNA test. I'm 4% Neanderthal.
But
no Atlantean came up in my DNA.
But you flew in your dream.
That's all right. Can I ask a quick question, though?
You can ask as many questions as you want, Chris.
Do you think maybe you believe that you have had many lives on Atlantis throughout time because you just said you read everything you can possibly find to read about Atlantis?
Well, the thing is, I'm very interested on a life in Atlantis. And I was told that if you're very attracted to the art, the clothing, the architecture of some certain kind of civilization,
right?
It's because you had lifetimes there. That's what was mentioned.
So I really like Victorian homes. What does that mean?
You grew up in Victorian London, obviously.
Oh, my grandmother was from England. It all makes sense.
I really like Game of Thrones, and I'm fascinated by the Dragon Queen. Does that mean that I grew up
You were
in
a Viking.
Westeros at
You were
one
a Viking,
point?
maybe.
I
Have you
like-
seen that movie, How to Train Your Dragon? It's a good movie.
Nope.
I like chocolate.
I'm not selling.
And I'm Swiss.
Well, the thing is, it could be, and I heard some on like CDs and some teachings is that 1/3 of the elite Atlanteans that were very God conscious left and went to parts of like India and Arabia and took their culture and art with them. And I have always been attracted to Indian and Arabic architecture and music.
Arabic.
And, well, even their language, and I've always been attracted to all of their jewelry and their clothes, and I never understood why. It's like, how could they seem so familiar because the Atlanteans, the 1/3 that was with Jesus, Jesus was emperor of that civilization, they went to that part of the country and took their art.
Fun fact, do you know who else believes that she lived previous lives on Atlantis? The actress Shirley MacLaine. A fun little fact.
So, Sarah, I've got a question for you. I find Brazilian women to be incredibly sexy. What does that mean?
Well, I think it means that if you probably had them as a wife and you have offspring, it'll be a very healthy offspring. We're attracted to certain people because of the best offspring.
Their
That's
virility?
all I can think of. Well, I mean, the offsprings, our genetic combination would create the most healthiest, brightest offspring. That's why we're attracted to that particular, set of people. So then, Darryl, you're attracted to somebody that's dark with brunette hair and dark brown eyes because your genes must be light. That's kind of like what I'm saying. I don't know if that has to do with a past life. Unless you were attracted to like Brazilian architecture and clothing.
I think it's more about the booty.
Yeah, I really haven't paid much attention to the architecture of what structures the Brazilian women are in. But I will say that if you ever get a chance to go to California, and I don't drink coffee, but go to one of the Brazilian coffee drive-through coffee shops, wearing something that legally is a bikini.
So
definitely some nice
Is the coffee
visuals.
good, though?
I don't drink coffee.
What do you do? Just go through like, yeah, I'm looking at your menu. Give me a second. Hold on. Give me another minute.
It's like Brazilian coffee, like good.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't drink coffee.
Yeah.
Sarah, any tips on
Darryl's just creeping through
whether
the
or not Brazilian coffee is any good?
Well, I don't know. You probably have offsprings with them. It'll be the best looking ones, I suppose.
I agree with you
That's
completely.
why you're attracted to certain individuals.
Sarah, thank you for the call. Your calls and thoughts welcome. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. This is Free Talk Live.
North Korea openly threatens the U.S. and launches a new missile every other week. Their warhead of choice? Electromagnetic pulse. Such an event would cripple the U.S. power grid for years and leave millions in the dark. Are you ready? You can be with a Solarc EMP-hardened solar generator. Solarc works day in and day out to keep your essentials protected. You can have peace of mind knowing your power will be there when you most need it. Visit PortableSolarLLC.com to see EMP testing. That's PortableSolarLLC.com. Energy insurance for your family.
You want to save money in a place that gives you growth, control, and certainty without stock market risk or tax risk, and you want guarantees and you want it all tax-free. That's a tall order. But you can get all of that with properly designed participating whole life insurance. Most people think life insurance pays after you're dead. That's true. But you can have tax-free access to use your life insurance while you're alive. Get the free book to find out how. Call 702-660-7000.
This is Michael Dean from the Freedom Fiends. I've run websites since 1996 and have used over a dozen web hosts in that time. AgristHosting.com is the only one that hasn't broken my heart. Agrist Hosting's uptime and service is stellar, and their DDoS mitigation is the best I've seen. That's important because if you tell the truth in this world, you'll ruffle feathers. And some people will try dirty tricks to silence your voice. No matter what the haters hit us with, Agrist Hosting keeps our websites online. If you have a mission-critical commercial presence or a world-changing activism site, you cannot tolerate any skullduggery. So go with AgristHosting.com. Have a WordPress or blog site, but you're not satisfied with performance or uptime? Or just want raw hosting? Want to pay with Bitcoin? Agrist Hosting specializes in high-performance hosting with personalized service. Go to AgristHosting.com and click on the button that says Get Hosted. That's AgristHosting.com.
Radio is the most personal of mediums. I exist right now in your head. If you listen to Free Talk Live regularly, you know me. Free Talk Live is on more than 160 radio stations around the U.S. and has been downloaded on every continent around the world. Hundreds of thousands of listeners with ad packages from $600 a month to $6,000 a month. Imagine what we can do for your business, project, website, or idea. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com.
So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM. Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
You can put the Liberty Radio Network on the air in your area. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how. Broadcast.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. In studio, it's Darryl.
And Heather.
And Chris.
And don't forget, the website, freetalklive.com, is a website that you can actually contribute to. There's a Reddit integrated something or another. I don't know exactly how it works. But if you're on the Reddit, then you can submit things and then could possibly, after being voted up, if it gets voted down, it's not going to make it to the front page. But if it gets voted up enough times, it could make it to the front page of Free Talk Live. And again, sometimes we look at that for show prep, and you can help direct the direction of the show if you don't want to call in. But why wouldn't you? We take your calls, and if you've listened tonight, that's evidence that we'll take pretty much anybody. 855-450-FREE is the toll-free call-in line. In studio, it's Darryl.
And Heather.
And Chris.
And we were talking earlier, Chris, about this database that has been attempted to be compiled about how many crimes are committed by members of police forces across the country. And let's sort of recap a little bit about this, and then I know there's definitely some more info. So a criminal justice master student decided to start compiling some data, came up with a data set that includes just over 8,000 police incidents, resulting in 13,623 charges, not necessarily convictions, charges involving 6,596 officers from 2005 to 2012. Data covers 2,830 state, local, and special law enforcement agencies across all 50 states plus D.C. And again, that's just a fraction of the nearly 18,000 such law enforcement agencies across the United States.
Now, what's interesting, and we keep coming back to this, we've got to emphasize it's a very small sample.
Correct.
And we don't really know. Well, the fact is our federal government, who most people assume would be tracking this. So, for example, the FBI, no, honestly, and its Uniform Crime Reporting Database, you can pull up any statistic on the number of gun crimes or the number of thefts or the number of, and because all these different departments in the country report in on that, but there is no regulation mandating that they report crimes involving police officers. And
not just that, there's no requirement that they wind up reporting so-called officer-involved shootings.
Well, there's
no requirement that they report cases of misconduct. There's no requirement that they report anything about what their officers are doing.
And to me, this should be a slam dunk for somebody in Congress. What is wrong with looking at data?
What do you do?
Honestly, the federal government looks at our data all the time. Why could we not make it a requirement that all officer-involved shootings, all charges against police officers, get reported to a database so that the data is out there to see? If there's no problem, the data will represent it. And if there is, okay, well, then you might identify some trends, some ideas on how to solve some of these issues. The fact that there are so many officers involved in violent crimes, and as this study shows, half of these things were involving violent crimes.
Yes.
That's a real high number.
There has been an undertaking over the last couple of years to try to compile all of the people that have been killed by police officers. Killedbypolice.net is what I've found to be probably the most comprehensive. And this requires people to dig through basically every news outlet across the country, and they rely, I believe, a lot on volunteers. And to date, they have, and again, this isn't necessarily 100% accurate. There's probably a few that are missing here. But to date, they show 848 people having been killed by police in the United States so far this year. In 2016, there were 1,163 people in the United States killed by police.
Yeah, and
the FBI doesn't tabulate this number.
Yeah, and I'll be the first to say that absolutely does not mean that every one of those persons was innocent, or that none of them were not, that some of them were absolutely involved in committing crimes. I have no doubt. But these numbers compared to other countries are really, really, really high. And I think it's fair to compare our rates of police shootings versus other countries.
And then you also have to, look at sort of the ethical aspect here of, should police be serving as judge, jury, and executioner in the moment?
Right. Well, that's absolutely a constitutional question. And I think when officers take that into their own hands, and I recognize that there are going to be times when that is necessary, that it can't be avoided. If you're an officer and a suspect is drawing on you and he has a gun in his hand and he's ready to fire, I can't fault a cop.
That would certainly be justifiable.
It's self-defense. But again,
young black guy took off running, so therefore going to shoot. Or what was the incident in South Carolina that wound up getting a lot of attention? Wasn't a young guy, was fairly older guy that was doing something described as running.
See, what I don't like, where are the police chiefs and stuff speaking out, being like, okay, even though they didn't get indicted or whatever, shouldn't the police chiefs be going public, being like, look, this is unacceptable behavior for our department. We should not be having somebody that was simply, under these circumstances, this is not okay. Where's
right.
You know what I mean?
And they do sometimes come out. Unfortunately,
some of them.
The police unions are very, very powerful, and the police chiefs are often members of those same police unions. And they sort of adopt this circle the wagons thing whenever there is a, quote, officer-involved shooting where nothing comes out. And
but this wasn't even a shooting. It was just the guy was in a van.
Yeah. No, I understand exactly what you're saying. Me personally, when there is a bad cop in any department, I immediately question the entire department. And before people start haranguing me for saying, well, you're going to judge everybody based on one bad apple, no, I'm going to base that on where are all these good cops that should have been stopping a bad cop.
And again, the people that like to say, well, just a few bad apples, they forget the entire proverb is a few bad apples spoils the bunch.
Right. But police officers typically work in a team. They're working with a partner, or they're part of a squad or something like that.
I think it's because they build a relationship. You know what I mean?
They do, and there is this thin blue line, which is
the brotherhood, the thin blue line.
But see, right. I don't want to seem I do think that we need police. I'm not one of those people. I know there's some people on this show. There's a lot of people in the Libertarian Party or something that they're more anarchists.
I'd rather be private.
I think there's a reason that we have police departments. I think local police would be more effective and accountable. I think with the bigger the department,
if they were only going after people that have committed something with an actual victim. Here in Keene, New Hampshire, 23,000 people. Nearly 70% of the tickets and arrests that get written are for things with no victim.
Okay, but even the victim part of things, right? Because the whole no victim, no crime thing, it's not changing anything. So if we step back and kind of take another look at this, why are people supporting the war on drugs? It's not necessarily because they think there's a victim. It's because they think it's for the greater good. Do you know what I mean?
Some people support it because, it's a way for the local police to make money so that they can then have money.
Oh,
asset forfeiture makes them a lot of money.
That's not what I was responding to.
Your calls and thoughts welcome. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733.
Ron Paul, Judge Napolitano, Jesse Ventura, Dennis Kucinich, Roger Ver, Colin and Jim Cantrell, Jordan Page, and Tatiana Moroz. Top minds in aerospace, cryptocurrency, blockchain technology, fine arts, politics, and finance, all at the Nexus Conference in Aspen, Colorado, September the 21st through the 23rd. Don't let this opportunity pass you by. Get your tickets now at nexus.freetalklive.com. New ideas and new opportunities all to be had on September the 21st through the 23rd. Nexus.freetalklive.com. Imagine, if you will, a virtual world, a symbiotic economy with its own currency, where you can barter your services with others. Symbi.com is a marketplace of real people exchanging skills and services, from web developers, marketers, video production specialists, and teachers of all sorts, to gaming consulting or fitness coaching. Symbi.com is a vast world of people trading freely. Take my word for it, it's an adventure you can't afford to miss. Simbi.com.
Have you checked your Google search results lately? Search results are usually the first impression that people form of you or your business, so make sure that they create a positive impression with ReputationDefender.com. What the internet says about you can have a big impact on your life and your livelihood, even if it's not true. Fortunately, you can now control how you look online and in online search results with ReputationDefender.com. Call 800-831-0771 now. That's 800-831-0771 for your free reputation analysis. If you have negative material from an ex-employee, upset patient, or former client, newspaper article, legal issue, social media, or other source showing up in your search results, you can combat it with ReputationDefender.com. Our dedicated experts in patented technology can help make your online search results look their best. Call 800-831-0771 to learn more. 800-831-0771. That's 800-831-0771. Or visit ReputationDefender.com.
This is the Onion Week in Review. Gushing women voters announced Monday that they just can't help but feel an uncontrollable attraction to the sexist Republican Party. Saying they should know better but just can't resist the GOP's reckless neglect of women's health issues, smitten females across the country are reportedly driven wild by the GOP's blatant chauvinism.
I can't say no to bold, misogynistic politicians who think their authority extends to my uterus. Whenever you vote for a Republican, you feel like you're doing something a little bit naughty.
Top officials within the U.S. military acknowledged Wednesday that they were desperate to be given just one solid war they could really knock out of the park. Citing the recent string of messy, ambiguous military engagements in the Middle East, members of the Pentagon brass called for a conflict against a sovereign nation with a standing army and a clear-cut bad guy who employs conventional tactics and weaponry.
No roadside bombs, no plainclothes militants hiding out among innocent civilians. Just a fair fight where two sides shoot at each other and someone wins. We're absolutely great at that.
This is the Onion News Network.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free at apps.lrn.fm.
This Your Family Today tip is brought to you by Juicy Juice, 100% juice, providing a full serving of fruit in every 4 ounces. Visit us at juicyjuice.com. When it comes to nutrition, kids need both fruits and vegetables every day to stay healthy and grow. For the ideal mix, your kid should have at least 1.5 cups of any veggie or 100% veggie juice, and 1 cup of any fruit or 100% fruit juice a day. For more tips like these, visit us at parenthood.com/yourfamilytoday.
You can connect with the Liberty Radio Network via our Facebook page at facebook.lrn.fm. That's facebook.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. Possibly time for you and your thoughts if you call in now to 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. And how would you like to try the best pillow that you will ever use? And you can try it risk-free for 60 days. I'm talking about My Pillow. It's designed to fit to the shape of your body and hold your neck in the proper position. I've been using this thing for about 1.5 years now, at least, and yeah, it's definitely the best pillow I've ever had. And unlike a regular pillow, you can actually throw your MyPillow once it gets dirty, and pillows do get dirty. They collect a lot of dead skin and dirt over the years. You can take your MyPillow, throw it in the washer, throw it in the dryer, and it's still usable. Go to MyPillow.com. Use code FTL to get your very own MyPillow at half price, or you can get a second pillow free of charge. And remember, if you don't like it for some reason in the first 60 days, you get your money back. Maybe, and I think I know the reason why somebody might not like their MyPillow, because it happened to me when I first got mine. I didn't get the right size. I got one that was a little too thin, and it was like, what's the deal here? Like, I don't understand why this is special. Oh, you got one that's too small, and then I got the right size. Oh, yeah, this is absolutely amazing. So maybe that's why you don't like it. They'll make sure that you're satisfied. And again, 60-day money-back guarantee, and the pillow itself is guaranteed to last you 10 years. MyPillow.com, code FTL. We'll go to the phones here in just a second. But, Heather, you were trying to make a point towards the end of the last segment about keeping police local.
Yeah, I just think that, I'm not one of those people that think that the police serve no purpose. And I actually had a situation happen the other day driving home from work where some guy got road rage and, followed my car, right? My phone had fallen in between. Yeah, I swear to God, he, followed me.
I read it.
You read it?
Yeah, I'm just wondering what you were driving, what kind of a maniac driver you were.
Okay, I didn't do anything. All right, thanks. This guy, just popped up out of nowhere and was, honking his horn at me, follows me into a neighborhood, and starts. I thought he was gonna ram my car. That's what it seemed like, and I kept driving faster to get away from him. And he was following me all throughout this.
Did he have flashy blue and red lights?
No,
because I really hate when they tailgate me with those silly lights.
This isn't even a joke though. This is seriously happened. It gave me nearly a heart attack. This guy was going crazy, and this was a day after somebody walked into a hospital here in New Hampshire and shot it up, or shot his mother in the hospital. But people go crazy like this all the time. And then I had mentioned in my post there that my phone fell between the seats, so I couldn't call police. And somebody actually commented on it and was like, "Oh, libertarians don't call police for help. They have a gun and they protect themselves." And I'm like, this is the kind of stupidity, right? That some people have, police serve no purpose. You know what? There's things go wrong. Having a group of people in a community that are there for you in the event that you need them,
right.
Not to harass you, not to all of the things that we see on a day-to-day basis, but police do serve a purpose. So it's really unfortunate when I see stuff like this happening with Freddie Gray and these other law enforcement officers, because there are ones out there that in a certain time of need, that we should be able to call.
Right. I don't disagree. I see value in having some sort of a police force, and I think in a purely libertarian world, you would still have that. It would be private, and you wouldn't be paying people to harass people over how long they've been parked in front of a store, for example, or things like that. So it would be very, very different. They would be focused on, I think, solving actual crimes with actual victims, which Darryl brought up.
And also crime prevention.
Right. Yeah, which is real.
We see this in Detroit with the Threat Management Center. And we could go on and on, but let's go to the phones where we've got someone calling himself or herself El Diablo Policia. You're on Free Talk Live. Go ahead with your thoughts.
Listen, I'll wear the hat. You've made a great argument over the past month, and you've said it multiple times, and it's worth repeating. They don't go far enough when they talk about an apple spoiling the bunch,
right?
Because it's the bunch that does get spoiled. This is Tom, by the way, from Baltimore, and believe me, I've been labeled a devil police for many years from people sometimes who have had bad experiences with police and others who just don't like police. And I understand that. Believe me, let's take Black Lives Matter, for example. You see the pushback from a lot of police groups and conservative groups, and I just don't see that as professional. We're supposed to be above the fray. And listen, whether or not you agree with their statistics, I don't. You can't argue with the fact that a large number of them perceive them to be true. And that's what we as professional police officers really have to address, the perception. And that's our job, to meet that, not with anger and hostility, but with compassion, understanding, and an attempt to educate. Maybe we'll get educated. Sometimes we do. We're not always right. Again, I simply don't agree with their statistics. I don't agree with their methods. I think they could be making a lot more progress if they approach it from a different way. But we can't make any progress if we don't come together and talk.
Right.
What I did want to mention, I know we're coming up at the end of the hour, but we've been talking about these various incidents and what police have and haven't done. And again, it's not a good time for our profession. I'll be the first to admit that. I can't put my finger on exactly what is happening. I do find it interesting that when a lot of these things occur, no one ever traces it back to how did this person get hired? Because every police department with any type of reputability and accreditation, they have a detective, a professional police detective assigned to investigate these people.
Right.
And that's one of the first places you'd want to look. But I see time and time again where police are failing to meet what used to be commonplace, and that is to do your duty with honor. Right. Look at the Pulse nightclub shooting in Florida. That was a disgrace. They left those people in there to die.
Right.
Now, the chief said it turned from an active shooter to a hostage barricade, and that's why they had to stop, because of policy. Listen, they had they made a tactical error. They had the numbers, they had the guy in sight, they had him pinned down, and they retreated. And they left him in there.
Right.
And regardless of how the situation was changing, one thing didn't change. It continued to be a dying situation. I'm astonished that no citizen has come forward and sued the police department. I'm aware of the Supreme Court ruling. However, most police departments have in their policy and the oath that they give their officers that there's two things of priority: preserve life and preserve property. Citizens need to start suing these departments and demanding that they hire honorable officers and that they uphold their oath and do their duty honorably.
Hey, I got to jump in here real quick. I am one of those guys who has been on like police chief selection committees and stuff like that. And you're right, there is a lot of investigation. Sometimes, particularly in smaller towns, they don't have anybody qualified to do it, so they look elsewhere. They'll look to state police to do those investigations for them and things like that. But what I was going to say was, at least in some areas I have lived, there's definitely a good old boys network. So even if a bad cop gets fired from a small department, it's okay. I know a guy over in this town who will pick you up. Does that happen much in Maryland too?
Absolutely. And if they can't get hired in Maryland, the more they're blackballed, they'll just move further away. I know several bad cops who actually hold command positions in some small southern and western states. It is a problem.
Yeah.
It definitely is. Even with the Coast Guard, I talked to a Coast Guard member who are also law enforcement as well as military, and the guy said, it used to be, and this is how things are changing, you had to go to the water when a rescue was needed, and we went there, and we did it, and we didn't mind, regardless of what happened. The saying was, you have to go in, but you don't have to come out. He said, now the policy is, if you go in, you better come back, and you better bring your equipment back intact. Damn the people that you're going to rescue. Now, they don't say damn the people you're going to rescue, but the message is, they're secondary to you coming back with your equipment. Listen, it's not the police officer or the Coast Guardsman life that's at priority. It's the person that you serve, and that seems to be missing, and I call it cowardice.
Yeah, I hear you, man.
Tom, thank you
That's
for.
all I got. Thank you.
Yep, thank you for the call. Good call as always. And there's definitely more that we could dig into this article, but we're out of time for tonight. But again, the link has been posted to the Facebook and the Twitter, and we're always online at freetalklive.com, and we're live here every night of the week. This is Free Talk Live.
Since time began, tyrants have taken aim at personal liberties. Now there's a movie that aims back.
The government has no more right to tell us what to put in our bodies than they have to take our guns or tell us what books we can read.
6 drug police were eaten by bears while raiding a marijuana farm.
On your knees, you dirty hippie! Jesus. On your knees! What's the problem, officer?
Today, many cops who enforce pot laws do so only because it provides them with cushy jobs, good benefits, and a chance to push people around.
I was an undercover narcotics officer. The drug war is nothing but a farce.
The Second Amendment says you gotta keep you and your gat intact.
Guns and Weed, The Road to Freedom. A film by Michael W. Dean and Nima Vadati.
DVD available now at gunsandweed.com or on Amazon. That's Guns and Weed.